Welcome to the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day.
He has a bounce, he crosses 50, he pins the ears back, and he drills the goal! You can tweet that and hashtag it bloody good.
It goes high up and under the full foot.
Makes a name for himself with these long bombs from outside the arc. It's a long bomb from outside the arc! Yes, hello and welcome to round 5 VAFA action from Caulfield South for a rematch of last year's Premier B Grand Final. Old Haileybury playing host to Salle. 3-time premiership coach Daniel Ward has his bloods in real good order to start 2025. Old Haileybury are 2-2. They're showing exceptionally competitive with the top end of top flight. The club is looking to make its ascension to William Buck Premier Stick after being very unlucky to be sent down to Premier B a couple of years ago. We'll hear from Daniel Ward just before the opening bounce. Salle, meanwhile, tough opening month of footy for coach Nick Hyland and his squad. They're yet to jag a win in 2025. A tough run to start the season. Some key absences all across the ground, though the news out of D-La is there are some very handy inclusions today, which we'll get to in just a few moments' time, having caught up with Nick Hyland a few moments ago. This is the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live every Saturday afternoon on VAFA.com.au and the SEN app. They're going nuts here for the reserves game. I think the Bloods have just secured a win by 4 points as I bring in Matthew Donald alongside me in the commentary box today. Hello, Matthew.
Yeah, hello, Paddy. Hello, everybody. Yes, a bit of controversy in this finish. There were appeals for the winning goal kicked by Old Haileybury. Appeals from D-La that it might have been touched off the boot. So a bit of controversy. No arc here at Princes Park.
Of course not.
So we can't verify that one. But what a fascinating encounter this is. A grand final rematch always has a little bit of extra spice compared to other games during the home and away season. And the runners-up from last year, D-La, there's every chance that they'll toe the line off. It doesn't really mean much getting a revenge win today. It matters doing it at the business end of the season. But there's no doubt that there'll be that little bit of extra drive to get one over the team who went on a tear towards the end of last season. Old Haileybury were convincing winners in the grand final and who've handled themselves quite well in the Premier A division thus far, breaking even at 2-2 in the opening month. They'll be happy with that, but there'll be a bit of fire in today's match, and I can't wait to call it with you.
Thanks, Matty. Yet 7 changes apiece since the grand final for both squads, so a little bit of a difference, but largely a core part of both teams today that played out in that grand final decider, which Old Haileybury romped in late last year in Premier B. Hugo Higginbotham is beside me, the 3-time Elstonwick Premiership coach in the special comments position. He's saying 2 to me. I'll give you an extra one. Just a little bit of mail on that one, Hugo. Hello, Hughes.
G'day, Paddy. Great to be here. What an excellent day for football. Intriguing contest here today. I got caught up in the last few minutes of that game there. I think I'm going to head in with the Haileybury fellas. They're going to be celebrating pretty hard in there, as we probably heard. There was very, very happy men there. But the contest today, let's have a look at that. These two sides know each other very well. Last year, I think they came up against each other 4 times. There's going to be a lot on the line in terms of bragging rights in this one. Maybe not a lot of love between the two sides. I mean, a lot of respect, obviously, but if you're ever going to get up for a game, regardless of your ladder position, it would be a game like this.
Let's talk D-La, Hugo.
Yes.
0-4 to start the season. We've seen them a couple of times. They've looked short of a gallop with a few key absences. There's some guys coming back in, which we'll get to in just a few moments' time, which will make life a little bit easier. Where are they at as far as team development goes?
Look, you can see they're developing. I think they can put some really good quarters together. They start off with, 20 good minutes here, 20 minutes there against Avs, St Kevin's. Look, they've played the top end too, so they've had a baptism of fire coming back up to A, but they need to develop a little bit more. Probably avenues for goal, I think, is probably an issue. If you look back on their recent scores, they're really struggling to kick a winning score, which is they were in front at half-time last week against, they played Blues, I think. And then, because they haven't got a big margin on that, it's very, very hard to defend that when momentum gets going the other way.
And we've seen that a few times with D-La this year. When they've been competitive, they've been really up for the contest against the opposition. But it's been those lapses that have cost them on a number of occasions this year. Paddy, you're a superstar here at VAFA Media, and you've got you've got ins with all the coaches. I know you chatted with Nick Hyland, who's the coach of D-La, a little earlier on in the week. Just want to have a bit of a listen to your chat with him.
Nick, thanks for your time. Tough start to 2025, but you've brought some key personnel back this week.
Yeah, it certainly has been a tough start. We'd like to have registered a win in the first month of footy, but that's not to be, and we can't do much about it now. So really looking forward to today. Yes, we've had a number of good inclusions, which certainly helps us. So we're excited by the opportunity it presents to take on Haileybury on their home ground today.
This ground clearly holds no fears for you. You won here last up back in round 14 of last year. You were the last team to beat the Bloods before they went on their run towards the premiership. Where do you think you can get them today?
Yeah, well, we'll obviously have to match them around the ball. They're very good in there, and when they win their games, their midfield have quite heavy numbers. So if we can match their intensity and keep good balance and shape around the ball, we think we've got enough threats in the front half to really challenge them. We do have good memories here. I thought we moved the ball really well and defended the ground well here last year, so we'll be looking to replicate that today.
Now, I know you'll put the damper on me for this one, but grand final last year, is there a little bit of spice, a little bit of fire in the belly for your group today, considering what happened on that day?
Not really. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have not mentioned it once throughout the week, and I think it'd be silly for me to mention it. The fact is there's 8 guys in our 22 that weren't part of that game last year, so when nearly half your team doesn't really mean anything to them, it's sort of irrelevant. And they're a different team this year, as are we. They've started this year really well. You could argue they're the informed team of the comp. I know it says they're 2-2, but if you take away their first quarter against Brighton and probably their last quarter against Xavier, they've been really competitive every week. And with a bit of luck, they're probably 3-1 or 4-0. So we know the challenge that's ahead of us. But having said that, we're really excited and we're desperate to get a win.
Nick, thanks for your time. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, Paddy. Good on you, mate.
Thanks to Nick Highland and D-Lar for that access. This is the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live every Saturday afternoon on vafa.com.au and the SEN app. We're here all thanks to Mequicare for the Saturday warm-up. And for the first time, let's bring in our boundary rider today, Sarah Burt. How are conditions down at the boundary, Sarah?
Hello, Paddy. Great to be with you, Matt and Hugo as well. It is absolutely picture perfect out here today. Barely a breath of wind. There's a tiny bit, but it's actually a bit of relief because it's very, very sunny, 18 degrees. It is an absolutely stellar day for footy out here.
It really is. I'm told it's usually quite windy, thanks, Sarah, out here at Caulfield South. But conditions matter, as Sarah mentioned, dead still. So hopefully a nice even contest as we see the old Haileyburyans running out to the ground. We'll have Daniel Ward, the coach of the Bloods, in just a few moments' time by the boundary for a chat with him. They feel so strong in the midfield, Hugo. It's the big names that everyone's seen, but Ollie Houghton has really added to that. They've had to push the likes of Hugo Noziara to the outside to try to get him some footy because this engine room for the Bloods, it's been dominant at Premier B for a long time. It's just as dominant now in top flight.
Yeah, and probably going next level as well. But one thing that I'm keen to look at again today is Big Jack Bell. He's giving them silver service in the middle. I mean, if you look at his numbers every game, he's 30, 40, 50 hit-outs. I mean, he's probably putting his hand up. I know we'll talk about this later, but that's a big V selection sort of resume he's putting together.
Back down to Sarah Burt, who's got the coach of the Bloods, Daniel Ward, beside her.
I do indeed. Dan, thanks for joining us. Grand final rematch, but we know the teams are looking pretty different this year. Is there much importance placed on that?
No, not really. What was it? 9 months ago, 8-9 months ago, whatever it was. It's a little bit different. Both sides have got a fair list change, probably about 25% different in both sides. So I think for them it'll play a big role in giving them that energy, especially at the start. And hopefully we can just curtail that.
Now, you guys obviously know this team very well. What's been the focus heading into today?
Just mainly looking after what we can control. Like I said, I think they'll come out nice and hot early, so we just need to stay the way we want to play and handle our side of the business, and the rest will take care of itself.
Couldn't ask for much of a better day of footy today. It is absolutely perfect. So it looks like all the conditions are going to work in your favour.
Yep. Bring it on.
You heard it here first. Yep.
Bring it on. Thanks, Sarah Burt and Daniel Ward. Great stuff on the boundary. A big thanks to the Bloods for allowing us the access. There are 2 key ins as well, Hugo, I've got to mention. Noah Higgins and Josh Donking, who comes into this side. He was out of the Hampton Rovers. He's played some games for the Sandringham Zebras at VFL level, so the strong just get stronger.
Yeah, it would appear that way, and if you're looking at someone to keep an eye on today, Noah Higgins, I reckon he'll probably start high half forward, but he's going to add to that small fleet they've got down there kicking goals. I mean, last week we had one that I want to watch as well, Cody Gunawardner, kicking a few. I mean, and then, Stefan Arcus down there as well, so they'll be absolutely lining up. And I did speak to Wardy earlier, and one thing I noticed earlier in the year when we had the old Brighton game, they had a lot of high, easy to defend entries, so they're really going to focus on some deeper entries, which is going to give absolute silver service to those smalls down there. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Now, important question for you, Hugo, because the Big V is coming up. It is still 2 months away, but it's on the minds of everyone around the amateurs. I asked this to Greg Hutchison last week at Brighton Beach Oval, who of course coached the Big V squad last year in Perth, about some players worth keeping an eye on for some Big V selection.
I'm going to ask the same question to you because you've mentioned a man who I'm very interested in today, Big Jack Bell, who wears the number 3 for the Bloods,
Yes.
a former Saints rookie who's come back to VAFA level and just looks dominant. Why does he seem so appealing to you?
Well, it's just weight of numbers, honestly, Paddy. I mean, the hit-outs alone are just amazing, but he's getting, contested possessions. He's just a really important player obviously for Haileybury, but for the Big V, when you're going to have a midfield like they will have, you're going to have some amazing players in there. A few might be out of one of the two of these sides here, but you want to have a dominant ruckman, and there's probably no more dominant ruckman in the competition at the moment.
Yeah, it's him and Felix Flockhart who've been really at the peak of the Premier Data ranking points as far as rucks are concerned. Felix is sort of fleshing that one out with some time spent up forward. He also kicks goals, but Jack, as far as the one-out ruck goes, really impressive. I see, Matthew, that he's grown a goatee as well for today, so we're not going to miss him.
No, absolutely not. And just on those ranking points, averaging 137.5, Jack Bell, over the opening month of the season. So that is a big opening month for him, and he's putting together a stronger case as anyone in the comp.
And you won't miss him because he's a foot taller than everyone else.
And there are some tall boys out there as well. For the first time in many today, let's go around the grounds, all thanks to Crabtree's Real Estate, leading commercial, industrial and retail agents in southeast Melbourne. So Old Brighton is hosting Old Scotch in today's Community TV doubleheader. So that's streaming on the Community TV website via the Herald Sun. That's the grand final rematch for Top Flight from last year. So it's a crucial game for the Cards because they're on a 2-game losing skid. They're short some key personnel. They'll be up for the fight for Ben Hayes in his 150th game as a Cardinal. The call team there, Tristan Fernando, Kyle Cummins, Greg Hutchison and Raj Johnston for Community TV.
Oh, what a lineup that is.
Oh, that is unbelievable. And over on vafa.com.au, it's St Bernard's and the Old Zaverian, second taking on third at the Snake Pit. St Bernard's College, last time there it was a 7-goal Snow Dogs win. Back in round 16, 2024, we found both the Snow Dogs and the Zabs have made some serious strides in 2025. Tim Barbakos and Kale Panuto will bring you all the gold there. Elsewhere, it's the Blacks taking on Collegians at Uni Main and St Kevin's meeting the Blues out at the TH King. So we're not too far away from a start here in Caulfield South. As Sarah mentioned earlier on, conditions in perfect order. Barely a cloud in the sky, barely a breath of wind around the place, Hugo. You could not ask for better conditions for this Premier B Grand Final rematch.
No, you couldn't. And is it Caulfield South or South Caulfield?
I'm not quite sure. I'm not a native of this area.
This is the South Caulfield Cricket Club home as well.
There we go.
So,
That's some feedback for me during the week.
Yes. I'm glad we got this game too, because there's no way I want to drive over to Essendon to St Bernard's either. So this is right beside my house, this ground, so it's another win for me.
I reckon
which is fantastic.
I reckon it's direction first, then area.
Direction
so
first.
So it's not Melbourne North, it's North Melbourne.
Correct.
So I reckon.
Okay.
South Caulfield it is. Thank you, Matthew. I stand corrected.
Until we get confirmation of otherwise, I'm just going to default to direction first.
Direction first. There we go.
So De La Salle will be kicking, by the looks, to the right of your radio dial. The cricket nets end of the ground here in South Caulfield, Hugo and Matthew.
South Caulfield, correct.
The Bloods to the left, towards the residential side of the ground. As we mentioned, perfect day for footy. The ground's a little bit small. The arcs, you'd think about 45 metres, so expect to see the ball transferred, I think, rather quickly from end to end. Although I think the sun might shine upon the team that manages to keep the ball in tight. Hugo.
I'll be very curious to see how Tom Stanton handles this. He's giving away a lot of height to the big Jack Bell in the middle there. So whether if he can get in close enough, try and make a bit more of a physical contest. He's a strong boy, but he's got a big, tough ask against him today.
The first quarter here from South Caulfield, all thanks to Bedell Body Corporate Management. Leaders in body corporate services since 1996. You're in the hands of Matthew Donald for the first bounce.
So it's the goateed Bell against Stanton to get us underway here at Princess Park. It's tossed up. The siren continues. Bell got the initial tap down. Well, it wasn't effective. The hand pass comes out. Houghton had it and lost it. Got to go in and retrieve it. Then he applies the tackle. Gets it again. Houghton gets the hand pass out. Although it was running onto it there for D-Lar. And then applying the tackle was Indovino. And we'll get a stoppage and a ball up. At right half forward here for the hosts. What's up again? That time it's Stanton who got the tap down. And then a strong tackle there by Rose. Applying it there on Amendola.
So this is what Stanton wants. He wants to get in and get physical against Jack Bell to try and guard that space, get first hands on ball. There we go again. There we go.
Again, Stanton once more, got the tap down. The hand pass comes back, gathered neatly there by Williams, who kicks it in towards half forward, although it's been turned over. The mark was taken there. The hand pass not so good, although they've worked it out quite nicely here. D-Lar, strong tackle there in the middle of the ground, that time by Giampa.
17-year-old boy, still eligible for the 19s here.
And he gets the free kick for holding the footy.
So Giampa just tucked in behind the centre circles he is. He goes with that shallow entry towards full forward. From the back, Cameron went for a big fly, then he'll lay the tackle at ground level. And the umpire picks out a free kick for one that clipped high. So Fraser Cameron back into the squad, encouraging early leap. Here's Noziara, the left footer, who's moved to half back last week against the Blacks. Worked to great effect. He's turned this one over, though. It's picked off by Tom Filipovic. His kick smothered in turn. And it will go out of bounds right next to the D-Lar bench. 2 Filipovics out there, Tom and Seb, the twins. My first look at Seb for the season. He returns from a broken pinky.
2 Hugos out there today too. 1 in the commentary box and 2 out on the ground.
3 Seckles as well. So
there we go. There's
plenty going on as far as family relations goes. Bell was probably held on to just for a moment. No ruck truly won the tap out. It's old Haileybury who get the initial clearance. Buffalo cleans up though for D-Lar and went looking for Bowden, who was ushered out of play. So it'll be thrown back in some 60 metres out from the D-Lar goal. Right in front of the bench, kicking towards the cricket net's end of the ground. Sarah Burt mentioned in our pre-game, blazing sunshine here in South Caulfield. Bell and Stanton go wrestling over it. Houghton tries to rage his way through. Giampa has him, not before he got the handball loose. It ends up in the hands of Mateus Rose, who goes to inside 50, leaping with no intent for the footy was Lockie Vaughan. He caught an opponent high. And the free kick will be taken by Tom Dean Johns, centre half back for D-Lar.
So Dean Johns, with time and space, is going to bring the ball across the far side. Just happy to slow things down a little bit for the time, D-Lar. Dean Johns is going to run onto it here. The kick wasn't great, and he was only able to gather it momentarily before fumbling it over the boundary line. Throw in here at half forward for old Haileybury.
Did a great job of closing out all the options there, Haileybury. You can see they've got that really good zone set up that took away all the easy ones, and just way too slow to move by D-Lar then.
So it looks like Vaughan's going to be doing the rucking inside, attacking 50 here for old Haileybury. Gets front spot and taps it down, although it has been sharked. Good tackle there. There was by Sievers out on Williams.
They'll be glad to have Williams back in this side, a little bit of strength around that midfield.
One of a number of changes for D-Lar this week, 4 in total. Ball tossed up once again, old Haileybury with an opportunity to work it inside 50. Rose on the right boot, bends it towards goal. It's got close.
I think he's kicked that.
I reckon he has. That's a terrific finish from the pocket.
I'm getting the pen out, boys. I think we put that one down already. That's amazing.
So the opening goal going the way of old Haileybury. A few minutes gone here in this opening term for B-Dale Body Corporate Management. 1 straight 6 old Haileybury. D-Lar yet to score.
I think you noticed there as well. D-Lar probably didn't handle the chain of hands that Haileybury is famous for. So there's that chain of hands off that stoppage there. And look, you probably don't have any right to kick that goal, but guess what? He did. Amazing.
Might just be a contender for our Bedshed Dandenong goal of the day. It's one of the great ad reads, gentlemen. No one's better in the bedroom than Bedshed Dandenong. Proud sponsors today. That's going to be an awkward one if a few nice ones go through. Here's Stanton back in the middle. Tapped it off the back of Bell of old Haileybury. It's the Bloods, though, through the ruckman that go forward again. They're looking sharp. Harrop back with the flight. Gets the spoil on Fisher. Taken away, though, by D-Lar. So Ryan O'Meara, who had a stack of it last week, his exiting kick is not much chop. Noziara went through his fingers at left half forward. He'll go again, though, Noziara. Went after Buffalo. D-Lar do well. They just trace this one along the wing. Filipovic goes inside. Thought about Buffalo. The handball skipped over his head. Ended up with Giampi, the young fella. Went towards the arc of 50. Nice tackle late. So Cameron lost possession of the footy. Durris Seckle now has it. Goes to the right back pocket. They complete the horseshoe of the ground to Sievers, who went on the bounce to Charlie Sinclair along the far wing, and not his best effort, out of bounds on the full.
So they'll get an opportunity for a deep entry inside 50 here, D-Lar, which is what we spoke about in the pre-game. It'll be, well, I thought it was going to be Dean Johns to take it. It won't. And he's instead handed off to Bohan. The short little kick works to Max Miller, the youngster. And on the left boot, he looks to try and find a target inside 50. The kick is no good. That one's out on the full as well.
Yeah, you had no options realistically there. Haileybury had a really, really strong presence down there, taking away all the space.
So Conway's got it in the back pocket now for old Haileybury. And he's going to try and switch it, and does so here to Lynch.
They are lined up down the boundary line here, Haileybury.
They are indeed. Now it's Connell who's got it, who runs and looks to spear a pass up the ground on the wing. That's a good kick. It finds Harrop, who goes towards centre forward. Not a good kick, although it was a good contest in the air that was applied. And that was by Jones, who brought it to ground. D-Lar have won it back now. Kick out to the far side of the ground. Miller's going to get there first, ahead of Sievers. Then on the left boot, tries to spear a pass inside 50. It's not a good one. Old Haileybury with the numbers. They'll get it out of there. It goes over the head of Connell, who's got 1-on-2 to contend with now. Does pretty well. One head got it to Miller, although he's caught in a two-man tackle, and he's gone. Old Haileybury with the ball. That's Seckle who's going to take the kick.
So Brady in the bright yellow boots. It's been a legend for this club, the skipper. Just tucked in behind the wing, and we'll set up a kick towards left half forward. Big pack of players will go off hands and out of play near the intersection of the 50-metre arc of the boundary line, Hugo.
So it's just noticing D-Lar playing that really high-pressing game from their forwards, which is putting a lot of pressure around the middle of the ground. There's some turnovers coming, which here and there, but then as their avenues for goal, when they need them, they just don't have them at the moment.
7-minute mark of the first quarter, all thanks to Beadle Body Corporate Management. It'll be thrown in. Old Haileybury clear by one kick. D-Lar yet to score. They've got the footy. They'll horseshoe the ground. That's a dangerous kick that hung a little bit. It'll allow time for Jake Black to get across the front and punch it out of play. Left half forward for Old Haileybury.
So speaking of names that are going to be tough to get, I'm going to call him Jack at one point today.
Yes, you are. We might just have to stick with that. It was Tom Doherty was trying to take the mark. The kick to him, a long switch, just took its time in getting there. So another stoppage. Stanton reached over the top. It went all the way out the back. Giampi's been really interesting to start this game. Filipovic, Seb to Tom. They combine across centre half back. They kick to a nest of bloods though. It might be Paul. He's taking the mark at centre half back. He's side clear by a point. Conway asking for it to his left. That's where he goes, between wing and half back. Conway wants the corridor. That kick's a little bit awkward. On the scene late was Buffalo. He holds up the Bloods movement. And coming in to stop it is Seb Filipovic. A stoppage right in front of us, right on the edge of the centre square wing. It's the Bloods by a kick early.
Stanton worked his opponent out of the contest well and got the tap down. And as a result, it allows D-Lar with the clearance. Amendola tries to crash through. And the umpires paid a high free kick going the way of Amendola. Back in the side this week. Gets the kick, looks to chip it to half forward. Stanton was impeded, front on contact. He'll get the free kick just outside 50. It'll be interesting to see if he backs himself from here, the big ruckman.
Look, personally, I would have preferred a deep entry there. He's still going to be kicking from 45-50 out from goal. You know, they're persisting with this high entry stuff, D-Lar. They did have numbers down there, but not in a dangerous spot. Now I've said that, he'll probably kick it.
Stanton looks like he's confident. He's going to start up his run up at the centre of the ground here.
He started the game well, Stanton. He's got a big job against Jack Bell, but the physicality he's bringing is excellent.
He's kicked 2-1 this season, Stanton. He launches from outside 50. It's not going to have the distance. It's going to just drift left as well. It's eventually punched through for a minor score. Rush behind. D-Lar's first score of the game, one behind. They trail Old Haileybury 1 straight 6, and that's on the Beadle Body Corporate Management scoreboard.
And that was his direct opponent who just punched it through then. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be a real wrestle between those guys today.
So Noziara to take the kick out.
Another Hugo.
Yep, plenty.
Good name, really good name.
He's looking towards us broadcast side is Hugo on that left. Now spies something he likes it on the far side of the ground. So just dumps the kick long. Harrop looked like just went through his fingers. A tackle at ground level to lock the ball up.
So D-Lar rolling an extra one. D-Lar rolling an extra one to that stoppage there. Just giving Dara Seckle ample time to sit in the middle of the hole in the forward line.
Highland desperate to tie the ball up in tight today. Holding the ball's been picked out. A free kick going the way of D-Lar. Buffalo wants to take the advantage. The umpire having none of it.
They always think they can get away with that, the players. The umpires are onto that.
So coming back to Ida, who goes inside 50. The leading lane opened up for Stanton, who charged through centre half forward and marked at the second attempt on his chest.
Nearly an identical kick to before. Happy to go to that area, and I think Haileybury's happy to give that away too.
Yeah, shallow entries, as you mentioned in the pre-game, Hugo. So Stanton knows his range now. This will be a kick of about 53 metres if he's to get at the distance from directly in front. Not a breath of wind around. Sits it up nice and high. Looks to be dropping short to the left-hand side, off hands and through for another behind. So D-Lar peppering.
And Bell punch it through again.
Exactly the same distance and ended up in exactly the same spot. They play on quickly here. Old Haileybury from the kick in. Ooh. Not a good one. Gathered by Bowden on the bounce. Gets the hand pass across. And now it's come back to Dean Johns. He can set it up here with a deep entry. Good smother though by Conway. Prevents the inside 50 for D-La, and now Old Haileybury can get it. Conway spins out of trouble, gets the hand pass across, and then one more. Lovely stuff by the on-field Hugo. Gets it away to Docking, and now it's Houghton who gets a hand pass away. Gathering it on the bounce, or trying to. There was Higgins, but it was cut out well by Fisher. And then a big contest there on the wing. It's a stoppage, and the umpire calls for the ball.
Well, we can see why Haileybury have such high possession numbers. That was 9 handballs. That was a chain of 9. They're not handballing to the player, they're handballing to the spot. They train this a lot.
So Bell and Bohan to ruck it. Oh, Bohan grabs out of the ruck almost contemptuously. His kick is smothered though by Higgins. Gets a hand pass away again. Then Bohan has been turned over. Rose with a hand pass received. Deep kick inside 50. Jones with a big fly. Brought it to ground. No mark taken. And we'll get a stoppage about 20 metres out from Old Haileybury's goal.
Just noticed Jack Bell's come to the bench here, so D-La need to get busy in the middle of the ground. It's going to be a 50-50 ruck contest.
Jones taking the gig from him for the Bloods. The tap went straight to Fisher of D-La, who sends a spiral torpedo down the broadcast side. Indovino tried to jump from the side. Williams there as well was caught high. So Jack Williams will get the free kick. It's 149th senior game for D-La by my count. Kicks it into the corridor. It's a dangerous kick. He was looking for Ritter. The spoil was applied. Indovino's going to have to go now for D-La. Did a pretty good job, and now Healy can impact. It falls away though. Now comes the way of Rose, who's been busy. His handball was a bit too hot for Higgins. Slipped through Noah's hands and now to play right in front of us. Broadcast side wing.
So we're seeing there's only one player in the D-La forward line at the moment, so that's a high pressing game that they want to try.
For BDL Body Corporate Management, sorry Matthew Donald, it's one straight Old Haileybury, 2 behinds D-La.
So he tossed his centre wing right in front of us here. Bohan and Bell again. Bell tried to leap over the top and then bowed and got a half kick forward. Bohan again, worked his way to trouble nicely there. The big fella gives the hand pass across to Filipovic. Just got the kick away in the nick of time. And then a contest on the wing. Umpire wave play on. There could have been a free kick there. And it's going to be turned over. There's Noziara, who picked it up cleanly. Sprinted away from the contest. Spears the kick to half forward. Gunnar Wardner was taken high. He gets the free kick right on the paint of 50. Players flooding back towards the goal square now for Old Haileybury.
I think he fancies himself here.
It's Harrop, rather. My apologies. He's got the free kick. So he's going to back himself to go the distance from here. He'll have to kick it from outside 50. 5 goals, 8 for the season for Harrop. So he's been a little bit wayward. He strikes this one from outside 50. And he held the distance all right, but pushed it wide. A minor score. 1-1-7. Old Haileybury, 2 behinds D-La, and that's on the BDL Body Corporate Management score.
Both squads, Hugo, going with shallow entries to start this game.
That might be the pressure of the game at the moment. They're trying to maintain that possession, but as the game opens up, you'd hope to see them go a little bit deeper.
So Curtis Day in the right back pocket for D-La. Wants Williams. That's a nice looking kick. Williams marks at his chest, darts straight into the corridor, has Itter over the top. Itter faces the game. No one's really going for him. Goes sideways to Indovino. Broadcast wing. Adrian onto his left. That's a beautiful kick to the arc at 50. Doherty marks. He turns quickly. There's an outnumbered Damashki's in the goal square. Has to back. Higgins did so well. Got the spoil away. Noah goes again at ground level. He'll be decked. Thrown into the ground. The ball rolls out. Damashki lays another tackle. The umpire comes to ball it up. Left forward pocket for D-La. Nice movement there, Hugo, from D-La.
Yeah, you want to see fast ball movement. And that wasn't reckless either, but that was an amazing kick by Indovino. He's such a good player and way too far away from goal for my liking.
So Hugo Lynch doing the ruck whip for the Bloods. It's a snap out of the contest that's rebounded off a D-La player, and in the end Will Paul helps it through for another rush behind. So they move to 3 behinds D-La, 1-1-7 Old Haileybury. We've just gone about 15 minutes in this first term, all thanks to BDL Body Corporate Management, leaders in body corporate services since 1986.
Noziara to take the kick in. Your boy Hugo.
My boy.
One of them.
One of many.
Now which way is he going to go? It's pretty stagnant, the positioning of his teammates from this kick in. Goes short to Connell.
He's still flat-footed here.
And then again a little further to Paul. And they've only now just got it out of their defensive 50. Houghton marks. He goes with a kick that's a little longer up the wing, and that's nice. There's a bit of space now. Mark taken by Vaughan. Looks to wheel and go. Drives inside attacking. 50 players look to jump. Big spoil there from Fisher. And it's rode well the ground by Sinclair. He's immediately caught. I don't know how he hand passed that one out to Harrop. And he's just been penalised because that wasn't a hand pass at all. Good umpiring there. Free kick to be taken by Amendola. It's half back.
That's actually, that's Jamper, is it? The young fella.
Might be Jamper rather. Short kick to Carvelis and then to Fisher. And half back to just slow ball movement. That's not a good kick. It's been turned over. Harrop again looks to spear a pass in towards half forward. Good courage shown there by Gunnar Wardner. And a little kick up on the lead. That was a good sprawl there from Dean Johns. Closed his opponent down nicely. It's still in dispute here inside. Old Haileybury's attacking 50. Appeals for holding the ball. I think the umpire's going to pay it. There was an arm free. A couple of tackles being applied, and the umpire saw the arm free. They didn't try to get rid of it, and as a result, Stephanakis is going to get a shot at goal here.
Just noticing the umpire's very, very hot on the holding ball decision today. I think we might see a little bit of a pattern, bit of a trend. There might have been in the umpire's training on Wednesday.
So Andreas Stephanakis, lethal in front of goal. 9 goals, 1 for the season. So he is one who's got the radar working nicely for Old Haileybury. They're only second to Harry Jones, who's got 10 so far. So here's an opportunity to tie things up in the leading goal scoring counts for Old Haileybury. It's not a difficult kick for Stephanakis. He trots in on the right boot. He's pushed. Oh, he's missed it.
Disappointing that, but you can just see his forward defensive work, that real small, tough. Every coach loves players like that. That's
a let-off there for D-Lar. 1-2-8. Old Haileybury. D-Lar 3 behind, and that's on the VDL Body Corporate Management score.
It's a tough one. Ryan O'Meara in the number 16, 34 touches last week. An improved performance by D-Lar against the Blues. They've been handy in this game so far. They trail it by 5 points. Down the far side goes O'Meara. Jack Bell, too big, too strong. Well-placed body positioning. His kick into the corridor, though, was a shocker. Seb Filipovic was so surprised that he dropped the mark. The opportunity dissipates for D-Lar, and now it's stuck in tight. Ida is the last one to jump on top of that footy.
Once had a coach say Ruckman should never kick the ball.
It'll be thrown in 60 metres out from the Old Haileybury goal. Bowen spikes it out of there. Rose tracks it down for the Bloods. Went sideways looking for Sievers. It went through his hands. It won't matter for the Bloods, though. They've got it on the far side. Ball will come loose. It's still just in the field of play. Giampa went lunging for a tackle. The Bloods now inside 50. Nice kick. Vaughan holds on to a toughie. He's about 45 metres out at the point of marking the footy. Tough angle. Right half forward.
You can see that handball game of Old Haileybury just moving the ball forward inches, and they just get that kick out. I'm liking the look of Vaughan at the moment. He's getting quite a few marks up around half forward, so it might be a bit of a handful for the D-Lar boys today.
It's been their secondary ruckman this year, 7.8 hit-outs a game. 4 games, 4 goals for the 25-year-old out of Berwick. He's a premiership player last year. Played a bit of his footy for Berwick as a younger man. Now he's at the Bloods. He's past the arc of 50. No troubles with the distance. Plenty of issues with the accuracy, though. That's been the story of this first quarter. The Bloods to 1-3-9. D-Lar to 3 behind. Just about entering time on, all thanks to BDL Body Corporate Management. Matthew Donald?
I might in a minute see if we can head down boundary side to Sarah Burt, because there have been a lot of shots gone awry, and we said there was no breeze, so just check to see if nothing's picked up since the match started. In the meantime, short kick into Williams, who's got it. And he looks a fan to kick out wide for Bohan. Good use of the body by the big fella. Strong mark taken between wing and half back. He's competed well early and moved quite nicely.
He's just got a sea of congestion in front of him here.
So he goes short over the head of Doherty. Over the head of the shortest man on the ground. Well, in Europe, the round ball game, they call it total football. Maybe the Rucks need to play simple football.
Rucks just need to handball to someone.
Just quickly, Sarah Burt, you are on the boundary for us. Have conditions remained the same, or is there a bit of a breeze now developing?
It's still pretty perfect here. There is a slight breeze, I think, it's probably picked up just to the right-hand side of the commentary box here, but I'm not sure where the inaccuracy is coming from. It's not the wind, guys.
Thanks, Sarah. Amendola was tackled off the footy. The Bloods at centre-half forwards. The umpire will stop play after Giampa was on the bucking ball that was Josh Docking.
Well said, Paddy.
Thrown back in the air. Pulled down was Bowen. Umpire called play on. It got to Williams on the second layer of the contest. Beautiful kick to Doherty in the corridor. Now they're through. The umpire picks out a high-contact free kick going the way of Doherty, it looked to be.
I think it's Giampa.
Or maybe Giampa.
Yeah, this kid can kick the ball. I've seen him at under 19 level. I've coached against him in junior level. He's been in representative football. And he's let me down with a nice little lateral ball movement there.
He's just gone sideways, the 17-year-old. He's just to be about the youngest player playing senior footy in top flight across the competition. Here's Ita. Moving to left half forward methodically here, D-Lar. 1-3-9 to 3 behinds is the Old Haileybury lead. Now the kick inside 50. Stanton was caught behind it. Bounced off Bell's hands. Indovino's attempted kick was smothered, and he's tackled as the ball rebounded back to him.
Well, realistically, they should have been an intercept mark and an easy intercept mark.
Man, Hugo.
I've gone down.
Frog in the throat. We'll get back to you in a second. 40 metres out from the D-Lar goal. It's spiralled clear by the Bloods defence. It goes into the centre circles. Took a wicked bounce. Sean Fisher didn't know what to do with it. Ended up in the hands of Giampa, who's been so busy. Goes inside 50, Indovino off his hands. It dribbles loose. Doherty's tackled. He's brought to ground strongly. And it will be thrown up again, 35 metres out from the D-Lar goal. Hugo, have you cleared the frog in your throat?
Yes, I'm all good now. I just went in for a refreshing ale at the lunch. What's going on behind us? But I'm back, boys. Thank you.
Bell with the tap down. Then Indovino had it, lost it. Spills out now. Filipovic there with a tackle. It's come close here. Amendola's got it. Not sure what to do with it. He goes with a kick backwards. That's effective. Mark taken by Buffalo.
He's waving them all off.
But he says, get out of the way, boys. I'm going the distance from here. He's marked it just outside 50. Sarah Burt said no breeze, so this is all going to be off his own boot here for Nick Buffalo.
This is probably the 5th or 6th shot D-Lar's had from very, very similar range. You know, they're hard to kick from here.
He's too straight for the year, Nick Buffalo. But to maintain his 100% accuracy here, he's either going to have to drop it short or put together a really good effort. He trots in now. He gets very close to the man on the mark, and as he's gone with that, the kick's gone very high. Going to land short, knocked the way out towards the boundary line, spills away over the line and out for a throw in the right forward pocket.
So ideally in that situation, one, he would have found a short hit up, but two, I reckon he could have moved that ball a lot quicker from the mark. He had time and space in front of him, could have taken a bit of grass, but made it easy for Haileybury to defend.
So it's tossed back in here in the right forward pocket. Bell with the front spot, tapped it down. And then the hand pass comes out. Noziara is caught by Williams over the boundary line. And we'll get another throw in. We'll do it again.
Briefly around the grounds for Crabtree's Real Estate. St Bernard's 3 goals straight. Olds of Varian just the 1 straight. So a 12-point lead for the Snow Dogs. St Kevin's by 4 points over the Uni Blues at the TH King.
Toss back into the field of play. Teely and Bell there. Neither were able to get an effective tap out. And then the snap around the body there from Indovino goes wide. It's a minor score. They're peppering away. Both sides getting opportunities to score. Goals is lacking. 4 behind Dealer. Old Haileybury 1-3. And that's on the Beedale Body Corporate Management scoreboard.
Sarah Burt on the boundary.
Yeah, just Pat Bowen from D-Lars having his left hand taped up. He's got a little bit of blood, but he looks like he should be okay.
Sarah?
Is that his blood or someone else's, Sarah?
I think it is his. They're paying extra attention to it.
Thank you.
Red Sharon residue, maybe.
Important thing to note. I think we may have lost a footy, ladies and gentlemen, because we've just had to grab one from inside, which is now making its way back to the defensive goal square so Hugo Noziara can kick it.
I saw a 12-year-old kid put it in his backpack, jump on his BMX, and he is off. He's got himself a nice brand new Sharon.
It's the Simon Petch special from about 1983. Hello to you, Petchy, if you're listening. Here's Noziara. Plays on out of the goal square and just wants to go straight up the guts. That's brave. He's picked out a D-Lar player. Straight onto the chest of Curtis Day. He's got some spread. Giampa, the young fella's been superb.
Oh.
What a kick! Inside 50 to Indovino. It would have been harder not to mark that. They all get to Giampa in celebration.
That was self-preservation there. If he didn't mark that, he was probably out with concussion protocol. But you can just see the skill of the kid, Giampa. So he's an amazing user of the ball. That was a 40-metre pass that went about 2 metres off the ground. That was amazing use of the ball.
18 disposals on senior debut last week for Giampa. He might just about clock that at half-time at the rate he's going. Here's Indovino, one behind already from the arc of 50. The left footer sets it on his way and loves it! Adrian Indovino gets D-Lar away. They're 1-4-10. Old Haileybury 1-3-9. 25 minutes gone in the first term, all thanks to Beedale Body Corporate Management, leaders in body corporate services since 1996. It's the Giampa and Indovino show early here in South Caulfield, Hugo.
It is, and don't forget Williams too. He's really had an impact coming back into the side. But if you notice, we're in red time and there was no one in Haileybury's forward half of the ground. So they just wanted to lock down, shut down, slow the game down, and as a result, D-Lo got to sit up behind the ball, and I don't think they realised they were coming up against a kid with exceptional foot skills.
So just back up once again. Bell got the tap down, and they'll win the clearance here again. There's Giampa once again. Gets a hospital hand pass out, though, and we'll get a stoppage here on the wing far side. It was Max Miller who was caught in the tackle.
He should have kicked that, shouldn't he?
In hindsight.
When he's hot.
Especially given how well his last kick went. Bell once again with the tap down. Although it was to the advantage of D-Lar. Although it's been turned over. Harrop with the hand pass back. Gasparini was caught, just about got a kick away. And then it's Stefanakis who wheels on the left boot. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Fisher used the body well. Read it nicely and took the relieving intercept mark in fullback.
So Sean Fisher, he's had a good year at fullback this year. He's been busy, unfortunately, for D-Lar. Such has been the start. They're zipping 4.
He's seen a bit of it.
He has seen a stack of it, the big number 1. In the left back pocket now they are. They're ahead of this game by a kick though. A long kick down the line was intended there for Healy, who played from behind and got it out of play successfully between wing and half back. So 26 minutes gone in this first term.
Yeah, ball-winning midfielders good, ball-winning fullbacks not so good.
Less so. But there aren't too many better at winning and using the ball than Sean Fisher from the last line. Stanton in the ruck here. Amendola tried to hack it forward. Old Haileybury will lock it up. We haven't moved too far from the side of that throw in. And in Green back to do the job. So the ball in the air. Bell's back in the ruck for Old Haileybury. Reaches up with the right hand. Tapped it straight though to Filipovic. That's set. Here's Giampi, your man Hugo. It's another beautiful kick to another young fella in Sasha Damashki. Out of St Bede's Mentone Tigers last year. He dodges his way around the man on the mark. That was Noziara. Then went deep inside 50. Big spoil coming from Rainer Seckel. Got it clear and now into the hands of Connell, who pushes it wide for the Bloods. They might try and get them in transition here. Here's Stefanakis. Damashki is on his tail. Far wing. Bell over his head looking for Houghton. It was a handball that was slow in getting there. Delar coming back the other way. Here's Amendola.
Gives it away to Edo. Kept on running. Sidestepped his man and he's got Bohan here at centre-half forward. The big fella's all on his own. He's got to play it free here. It's Bowden who was on the fat side of the ground and he's marked with 35 out, 45-degree angle.
Well, it was great play by Delar there. They were very lucky with that turnover in the middle of the ground. Big Jack Bell probably just hung on to it a little bit too long, and then they had that good overlap transition run. And Bowden was there. He read that beautifully. He could see that coming down, and he was screaming for it in that pocket.
So Ethan Bowden hasn't scored this year. 15 disposals and 6 marks last week. Been a real war of attrition in this opening term. Just the 1 goal apiece. As we approach the latter stages of the opening term, he's taking a long time here, Bowden. He's at the top of his run-up for a while, just stood still. He comes in now. Be kicking from about 40 metres out. It looks good. He holds the line. It's got it! Pick off a Delar. Ethan Bowden's first of the year. And they've kicked clear in the latter stages of this opening term, Delar. 2-4-16 they lead. 28 minutes gone here in this opening term. Old Haileybury 139, and that's on the BDL Body Corporate Management scoreboard.
Gee, Hugo, I'm really looking forward to hearing from Nick Hyland at quarter time because he would be stoked with this first quarter, especially the later stages.
Yeah, look, I think he'd be very happy with the 4 inclusions in the side this week. I mean, Amendola coming back in, just putting that physicality around the midfield, and Williams as well.
We'll have his huddle report, all thanks to Buxton Hampton East. After the quarter-time break, the Bloods need a response here because Delar are feeling pretty good about themselves. It's a high kick towards half-forward. Damashki ran underneath it just a touch. And it was picked off. So Ned Conway wants the corridor, finds the corridor. A well-placed kick. Gasparini will complete the switch. Goes towards Higgins, who's streaking on the far side of the ground. He lost sight of the footy, maybe in the sun. It's Vaughan rather, no harm done. Now he's tackled, got rid of the footy. The umpire deemed he didn't do so legally, and now Williams the other way for Delar. They're on a tear. He wants Fraser Cameron, who took it on the bounce. He is helped out of play though. Good body pressure by Hugo Lynch. Arc of 50 in the boundary line. Left half forward for Delar, Hugo.
Looking a bit rattled here, Haileybury. They're really looking for quarter time, I think. That Delar have brought a massive amount of pressure to the game, and Old Haileybury aren't liking it or handling it too well.
29 and a half minutes gone here of the opening term. Bell got the front spot, tapped down. This is all happening at half forward for Delar. Gasparini got out of trouble, gets the hand pass away to Harrop, and then running alongside there was Houghton. A kick towards half forward. Vaughan had used the body well, picked it up nicely. In fact, it's Gunnar Warden who got away from Fisher. Chips towards goal, but it's wide. He was pushed as he kicked it. It's gone through for a minor score, just the one behind. 1-4-10, Old Haileybury, Delar, 2-4-16.
Now, that was a prime example of that. Gunnar Warden, he'd eat those for breakfast, goals like that. And just the pressure in his head, I think, just drew that kick, and it was not a great execution.
So Delar now just trying to shut this quarter down with Ryan O'Meara, who goes back to full back. And will charge across to try and receive the switch here. It's been such an impressive quarter of footy from this winless side, who are zipping 4 on the year, but have started this first term like a side with at least 2-3 wins and a bit of experience at top flight footy. They lead at quarter time 2-4-16. Old Haileybury 1-3-9. They've kicked the last 2 goals of this game, Delar, through Bowden and Indovino, after Mateus Rose put through the first goal of the day to give Old Haileybury the start. It's Delar by 7 points at quarter time in South Caulfield. More after this.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45pm.
Quarter time in South Caulfield. It's Delar with the jump here. 2-4-16 leading Old Haileybury 1-4-10. A super impressive second half of that quarter to jump last year's Premier B premiers in the grand final rematch from that division in top flight. Paddy Grindlay, Matthew Donald and Hugo Higginbotham, both in here with you today. Sarah Burt on the boundary. Let's start with you, Hugo. That was super impressive from Dealer. They've played good footy in patches this year. I'd say that's comfortably the best quarter of footy they've put together in top flight.
Yeah, certainly the second half was of that quarter. Really set the standard when they move the ball fast. I think if they're trying to move it slow and try to play that possession game, it's a turnover waiting. But when they move it fast, the space to advantage and use some of the better ball users. And my boy there off half back, Giampa. What about that? That is an elite foot he's got there.
So Antonio Giampa in his second senior game. He only turned 17 in March this year, so he is on fire, Matthew Donald.
17th in March. I just need a minute there, Paddy. No, but it was terrific. Terrific second half of that opening term there from D-La. And it's sort of similar to what we saw last week. It feels like there's a real desire to just make sure that you shut out the opposition first from a D-La point of view. And we saw they were able to do it for 3 quarters against the Uni Blues last week. I suppose given the games that we've seen, there is still that possibility that Old Haileybury can get on a run at some point and put on a pile of goals. But it looks like they've taken their lessons, Hugo, from last week in terms of what went well, and they've looked to apply it again today. And so far, they've done a really good job with it.
We'll get to Nick Highland in just a few seconds for his quarter-time huddle report, but the leaders around the competition, thanks to Crabtree Real Estate, Old Scotch by 4 points over Old Brighton, Old Zaverians by 7 points over St Bernard's, St Kevin's by 11 over the University Blues, University Blacks by 9 points over Collegians. Let's now get inside the D-La huddle for Nick Highland. We might just be having some technical issues, though, with our microphone, so apologies for that one. We will be returning, though, to Nick Highland when he breaks out of this huddle with Sarah Burt by the boundary. Old Zaverians got jumped at the start by the Snow Dogs at the college, but they lead 4-1-25 to 3 straight 18. That game's playing out on vafa.com.au. Meanwhile, in the community TV game, it's Scotch 2-1-13, leading the Tunners, who are 9 behinds, 0 goals at quarter time. So that's a bit of a struggle for last year's runners-up, the Tunners, who have looked, I think, this year, Hugo, imperious, but not starting that game at home how they would have wanted to at all.
Well, looking at the conditions today, no wind at all. That's what's throwing them, Paddy. They're used to
Exactly.
blowing gale down there, so they kick it towards the points. It goes through the goals. Today it's going through the points.
As I'd say, cricket doing it in singles at the moment.
Yes,
the Tunners.
Correct. So the Tunners are the only undefeated side left in top flight. Scotch coming off a 2-game losing skid and a goalless second half last week against the Old Zaverians, which I know Mark Nat would be smarting about. They are dealing with some personnel issues over there at Camberwell Sports Ground. The Zaverians, they've started this year really well, so you expect to see them playing well away. But that's a really interesting game for me. St Bernard's, who typically do it so well at the college at the Snake Pit, or the Snowfields, as Jason Bennett likes to call it. He doesn't see it makes sense to call a team called the Snow Dogs playing at the Snake Pit. It should be the Snowfields. I'll leave that up to our audience to decide whether that's correct or not. But that game also taking place today on vafa.com.au, which you can watch live and free on the website. What does now the response happen? Where does the response rather come from, Hugo Higginbotham, for Old Haileybury after they got jumped in the second half of that first term?
Well, what they probably have to do is just go back to the system and the process. I mean, the scoreboard generally takes care of itself. I think they got away from that a little bit. They probably didn't anticipate the pressure that D-Lar brought around the midfield. Probably thought that they'd have, a bit better ball use going forward. But they went away from what Wardy spoke about, how they were focusing on deeper entries.
So let's get down now to Sarah Burt, who's got Nick Hyland beside her.
Nick, pretty good end to the quarter for you guys. Bit of inaccuracy at the start, but you really cleaned up towards the end there. What did you say to the boys in the huddle?
Yeah, we were quite happy with that 30 minutes. I thought we were really good around the ball in an area where they're pretty strong. And then we were able to generate some good looks for the ball. Had we kicked a bit straight, it would have been a different story. But hey, we're creating opportunities, which are positive.
Feels like a little bit of breeze has picked up in that last quarter. Is that a factor?
Probably not so much. Slightly going to the end we're going to now, but I don't think it's having too much of an effect on the game.
All right, we're about to get into the second bounce. Here we go.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah and Nick, for that one. Matthew Donald, you've got the call for the second quarter here in South Caulfield. That's all thanks to Advertising Associates, delivering successful work for their clients for over 30 years.
Bell and Stanton to renew hostilities. Both rucks got hands to it. Filipovic in the midfield gets the hand pass across, and there's O'Meara out to Miller, who's played a lot of this match on the wing early. Spears a kick. We've talked a lot about Hugo's mate. Here's Paddy's. Damashki's got it now on the wing. Slows things up here for a minute, then sinks a long boot deep inside attacking 50, goes over the head. Almost trying to take the mark there. There's a Haileybury player down. Meanwhile, snapping it towards goal, going close. There on that occasion was Cameron, but it's gone out wide through a minor score. I think it's Rainer Seckel who's down there. Yeah. He copped a knock to the head going back with the flight, so we'll keep an eye on him. The ball's actually going to be brought in this side, Paddy.
So Noziara's got it, right back pocket, throws his arms up in disgust at the options ahead of the footy. Now Hugo will kick it over Rainer Seckel's head, who's walking off the ground at quite a slow pace. We'll get Sarah Burt to watch that all for Authorsport Australia. Meanwhile, it's Old Haileybury on the broadcast wing, tight roping the boundary, and in fact going out there was Houghton, who is not quite too pleased with that decision. The former Saints, who's on North Melbourne's VFL list this year.
It's always disappointing when the ball bounces over the line and you grab it and run away and the umpire still pays it. Very unfair that sometimes.
Get down to Sarah Burt in just a few moments' time. Rainer Seckel's just walked past her. Meanwhile, from this throw-in, it's taken away by the Bloods. Brady Seckel goes into the middle of the ground. It's tapped further on. That was a nice bit of play there from Charlie Sinclair, though. They've mucked it up, the Bloods, and turned it over. Ryan O'Meara's got it. He spreads it wide. Well, they're in trouble. Day was just about to fall over. They're charging forward at a pace, the Bloods. It's Sinclair again, who's on the bottom of this pack. It'll be thrown up 40 metres out from goal. Old Haileybury charging forward, Matt Donalds. They trail it by 7 points at home.
They worked it inside. They're attacking 50 now, Old Haileybury. What can they manage with it? Stefanakis was there, couldn't gather it cleanly. It's come out here. Well, there was a good smother there by Rose, affected the kick. And now it's sent back inside 50, bouncing ball. Well there, I think that might have been Dean Johns down there. Trapped it with his pads, in the cricketing terms. And then it's Indovino who's come out to kick out to this side to Williams, although he wasn't able to take the mark cleanly. Noziara goes with the left boot out wide, effective. So they can set it inside 50 here. Kick inside, attacking 50. Coming from behind was Ward. Playing in front, though, taking a strong mark was O'Meara, who's been in the wars a bit in this match. But he's taken the mark inside the attacking, or defensive 50 rather. He's called to just hold up now. Sarah, have you got the Salle on the boundary line?
Seckel's headed into the rooms to get that head checked out. He was saying very loudly, I'm fine, but they have gone to check it out.
Thank you for that, Sarah. Miller's got it at half-back now. He's forced to hold up the play, gives the hand pass across, and then one more. It comes over the top, and then Indovino gets past Bell, gets a kick towards half-forward. Old Haileybury with the numbers here. Oh, no one took the mark. They're coming out to meet it there. Cameron, who was strong, got a hand pass away, but it wasn't effective. Houghton now gives it across to Rose, who had a fumble, and Giampi applied the tackle. Old Haileybury maintained possession of the football, though. Conway, he comes back, and now a kick out wide there from Higgins is effective. And then it's Seckel who goes with a high kick in towards full forward. The ball hit the deck. Nobody took the mark. Amendola trying to crash through. Gunawardena caught him high. And the number 24 for D-Lar will take the free kick at half-back, and he'll drive it out wide, Paddy.
Yeah, they're going to move quickly here. Filipovic has taken the mark at Seb, far side of the ground. And they're streaming forward. Giampa's going to get on the end of this. The ball just skipped away from him. He cleaned up his opponent there in Seckel. Went again, Giampa. He was brought down. The umpire called play on. They still might get a chance through Jake Williams, whose left foot snap is high and fading across the face of goals and through for a behind.
They look very dangerous on that surge, Delo, don't they? But I'm just noticing Haileybury still haven't settled. There's a fumble here and a fumble there.
No, they haven't. Higgins now with it, right half back. 2-6-18 De La Salle, 1-4-10 Old Haileybury, approaching 4 minutes gone for Advertising Associates in the second term. O'Meara chops it off in front of us, broadcast wing.
He's been busy this quarter.
So Ryan O'Meara, I mentioned earlier, was dominant in the back half last week against the Blues for D-Lar. He's called to play on now. 2-step drop punt down the line. Not much representation. What a fly! Oh my goodness! Healy went for an absolute ride. It's been kicked high towards the forward pocket. And out of bounds on the full. Luke Healy, who landed solidly as well back to his feet, was horizontal in mid-air. Couldn't quite get near the footy though. And it will be Old Haileybury again to bail themselves out from the last line.
Mark of the day for Chicken Lads was all wrapped up if Healy held on to that. I don't think that one was getting topped today. Ziara's got it now in the back pocket. And he drives out towards centre half back, so a bit of danger with this kick. It was Conway who was forced to go for the mark. O'Meara gathers it now. He gets the hand pass away, or it's slapped back in towards the centre of the ground. Dean Johns has got to run after it now, but he overruns it. Conway didn't. He picked it up. Got the hand pass across to Harrop. He can give away one more. Another can chip it inside 50. Rose going for goal. He's already kicked one. And he's got a second now, Matthias Rose. Great transition football from Old Haileybury and a desperately needed one. Matthias Rose has both of Old Haileybury's goals. He closes the gap here at South Caulfield. 2-4-16 Old Haileybury. D-Lar 2-6-18. And that's on the second term scoreboard for Advertising Associates.
Matthias Rose, 2 goals, both at the 5-minute mark of the respective first and second quarters, Hugo.
It's an amazing stat, Paddy, amazing stat. But D-Lar playing a lot of front half footy there, but failing to capitalise. And we've seen this a few times this year already. They have a good start, plenty of the ball, but just trying to find that avenue to goal, they're struggling. And then you just look at that chain of hands through the middle of the ground that Haileybury are famous for.
Yeah, it's the shortest path to goal for the Bloods. That's what they want to focus on this year. Filipovic from the middle, that's Tom. He's going to go nice and wide towards his twin in Seb, who got rid of his opponent, got the footy, gave it to Witter, through 45 metres. He's missed to the right-hand side. That was a fluid bit of play from D-Lar. And Itter just couldn't quite finish off the work. So they move now to 2-7-19 Old Haileybury, 2-4-16 for Advertising Associates. 3-point leaders D-Lar. Noziara once again. Matthew Donald with the kick-in duties. His left foot would just be about falling off the amount of times he's had to clear zone today.
And he adds another kick to his tally. Drives out. Oh, huge fly there from Dean Johns. Went through hands. Now it's on the wing. The umpire waves play on. It was a strong tackle that was applied, but the umpire let it go. D-Lar will get an opportunity to drive it back inside 50. Noziara going back with the fly. Couldn't take the mark. Cameron comes out to contest the ball with him. And the boundary line beats all comers in the end. It goes out of play for a throw-in the right forward pocket.
That was Giampa who kicked that ball from the wing again. That's gone 55, 60 metres. Very dangerous player, that kid.
He's gunning for an Anytime Fitness Rising Star nomination, I reckon, Hugo. He's been on fire early today.
They'll want to close him down very quickly anytime he gets ball in hand. Don't give him any space. Ball tossed back in. Bell with front spot. Tapped it and then grabbed it out of the ruck. Gets the hand pass away, though it's been turned over. Healy trying to crash through. His hand pass was cut out. And there's Rose getting it across. And then another kick up the line from Gasparini. Good use of the body again by Fisher. He's done that a couple of times today. Used the body well and taken a nice mark on the wing. And he looked to try and set it back inside 50 here for D-Lar. Kick towards half forward. Bohan with a fly. Just crashed through. Used the big frame to get everyone else out of the way. And it goes out of play for a throw-in. Will we head boundary side to Sarah Burt? Sarah? No, we won't. That's okay. We'll try and get to Sarah in a moment.
So we're thrown in intersection of the arc and the boundary line. Right beneath the light towers here in South Caulfield. Bowen tried to shift Vaughan out of the way. Williams took it through the stoppage, gave it to Filipovic. He'll be wrapped up immediately after receiving the footy. He got the handball away to Damashki, who's brought down. And it will be thrown up 35 metres out, directly in front. D-Lar in attack. And pressing an advantage, leading by 3 points. It's been just about their best showing of 2025 in this first half so far. Bowen flicked it behind himself. It came the way, though, of the yellow boots of Brady Seckel, who fires it down the far wing. Durra Seckel doing battle there with Dean Johns. He'll go near the boundary line, taken by Sinclair, who wants Durra Seckel by hand. Couldn't make the take. Filipovic's now got it, and he's taken high. Is Tom, far side of the ground. They're lining up through the corridor. The Bloods are aware of it, though, so they've locked off that movement. So Tom Filipovic's just going to have to kick this straight into the mixer. An early whistle, out of play. Umpire's picked out a hole. It looks like it's going to go the way of Healy, who's walking back with intent, receives the ball now. It's a hot throw from Darius Seckle that makes its way into the hands of Luke Healy. And Hugo, this would put them 2 kicks clear.
Yes, but look, they've been playing some great footy. I've really loved the move of Tom Filipovic into the midfield. I think he's had 3 or 4 clearances already. That was off his boot, fair enough, a free kick. But he's looking like he's going to have a very big day, So
Luke Healy, 35 metres out, not much angle to speak of. Left footer, he has hit the stick. So that's been the only issue so far for D-Lar, 2-8-20. They could be a little bit further in front. Old Haileybury 2-4-16, approaching 10 minutes gone for Advertising Associates as Hotton's got it here for the Bloods.
And he just about took the mark and just about got the kick away, but it was all effective. It was marked on the wing here by Jones, who's been quiet, and it's been turned over again. A little kick around the body. This works quite nicely for D-Lar. Plenty of space for them. Doherty, and then Amendola was run down, and he's been gone. He's penalised for holding the ball. So a free kick going the way of Old Haileybury. Another dangerous kick. O'Meara going back with the flight. Couldn't take the mark. Gathers the football. He's taken in a tackle and will get a stoppage. Just attacking side of the wing here for Old Haileybury, who continue to press.
Let's get down to Sarah Burt on the boundary.
Just had a chat with the Old Haileybury trainer. Raina Seckle's head is okay.
That's all thanks to Author Sport Australia. Good to hear that Raina's okay, Matthew Donald.
And we'll be expecting to see his return to play shortly. It is terrific news. It's a nasty one when we assess the head injuries in this day and age, where we take such great care with our players. Ball's tossed back up, trickling towards the boundary line. Houghton fell over the line, but just about kept it in play. Got a shove for his troubles as well. Amendola was caught in a 360. He didn't get rid of it. The umpire waved play on. Gasparini gets away from a tackle nicely. Spins around, hooks on the right boot. It's going to go inside attacking 50, crawled bounce. It's in dispute now. O'Meara goes to ground, got a hand pass out looking for Miller, and then Rose gathers it now. He's caught by Miller, and it goes over the line, and we'll get a throw in at right half forward.
One thing you say, D-Lar are playing with a lot of energy out there, and they're feeding off each other. They're absolutely loving the pressure, and it is a very hot ball out there. There's no easy ball, as we saw with Rob Amendola, where he got an absolute beautiful tackle before.
Bowen and Bell to do battle just inside 50 here for the Bloods. Houghton had it. Hot hand pass behind the footy to Harrop. He turns it over to Williams. Flicked it out to his ruck in Bowen. That's a precise kick from the big fella. Indovino's got contact coming from Darius Seckle. It was a high spoil from Darius. There's 3 Seckles out there. Darius, the tallest of them, usually plays a key defensive role. Indovino's gone down the wing. It's a beautiful kick. And this man, Luke Healy, is just threatening to tear this game apart from centre half forward. He's had a big 10 minutes. Sits it up on the left inside 50. It's just Old Haileybury, though, down there. And they'll pick that one off.
Probably needed to kick it to himself then, Paddy.
So, yeah, exactly right. So it's Connell to Higgins, who's just kept that one in. So Noah Higgins on return after concussion in round 2 against the Tunners. Fires it back to Connell. Last line of defence. Cut off by Filipovic. Completes the switch. It's a long, wide, searching kick to Josh Docking, who marks. The Sandringham VFL and the Hampton Rovers. Back to Connell, who's moving up with the movement of the football, but they're just not advancing it quickly here, the Bloods. Connell goes short. It's very short, in fact. So now with Jake Black, he's going to cross halfway. Healy's gone now down back and implies a big contest and a big spoil. Defensive side of the wing gets that ball out of bounds. Hugo Higginbotham, they're just not moving the ball with much urgency at the moment, the Bloods.
They're not moving much at the moment, Paddy. They went to the other side of the ground transition, which I thought, good, they're about to start getting this going. And then the players didn't roll over, and D-Lar got into the space, took away all the options.
So the relief rucks, Bohan and Vaughan. Bohan grabs it out of the ruck, wanted to kick it, but went for the hand pass as well. That's been turned over. Connell with a short, very short kick. I don't know if that's 15. The umpire's paid it. So they've got it on the wing here, Old Haileybury. And in the last few minutes, they've just been content to slow the play of the game down and avoid these long kicks. But they've got no option now. They've got to go long. Playing in front, that was no mark taken. There might have been Dean Johns who was there.
I think it was.
And it's going to be another stoppage. Just on the edge of the square, attacking side here for Old Haileybury. Tap down. And what's going on here is a block, a free kick to Old Haileybury. Vaughan wasn't allowed to contest the ruck, and he'll get the free kick. He'll be able to send Old Haileybury inside 50 here.
I'm just noticing Delar, they're really pressing high, they're taking away all the space, which is great, and that's always seeing them struggle to get that forward entry. They're very high on the ground, they just hope to have the options down there.
So if we want to be too far out to score here, you'd think. So instead he's just going to set it up close to goal. Oh. Big fly over the top from Jones. Got over the top of Bohan. Couldn't take the mark. Comes out to Harrop. He gets a hand pass to no one in particular. And then trying to crash through there was Buffalo. And the umpire has pinged Old Haileybury for a high tackle. So Buffalo went in low.
He's a bit sore out there, boys.
And he got the free kick. And he's still down. You're right, Hugo. So there's going to be a bit of a break in play here. The ball's been handed back to the umpire. Nick Buffalo is clearly in a lot of pain and will receive some medical attention for the time being.
Very slow to his feet there, Nick, though he is now standing up. The trainer with him on his haunches.
He's a tough customer. He'll get on with it.
He's just struggling a bit. And I think he's actually being told to come off the ground now, it looks like, Nick Buffalo.
Sarah Burt's been busy with injuries in this first half. There's another one to keep an eye out for Autosport Victoria. Nick Buffalo jogging from the ground, doesn't seem to be favouring any side of his body, so we're keeping an eye on that one. The umpire just holding play until he does get off the ground, but he is slow, yeah.
And he's tried to break into a jog and stopped, and then...
Yeah, the D-line bench screaming at him to get through the race, don't come straight to the bench, because as you know, if you come straight to the bench, you are done for the day. They have to go through that interchange gate. But he's got a heavy knock there.
So play will resume. Delar deep in its own defensive 50. Curtis Day's looking to do something about that. Pushes it far side of the ground. Bowen used his body well, just couldn't complete the mark. Got the handball through to Ida, who was charging past. He goes forward by hand as well, looking for Indovino, who'll be forced to turn tackler. Trying to break through there was Rainer Seckel. Good to see him back out there. He'll be thrown in, far side wing. We'll be checking in with Sarah Burt to see how Nick Buffalo is going in just a few minutes' time. In the meanwhile, it'll be thrown in. Far side wing, as I mentioned. Out the back of the contest it goes. Williams is trying to track this down. He's tackled by two bloods. Didn't have the footy. The umpire said play on. And now we'll come in to resolve tensions with a ball up. We've moved towards 65 metres out from the Delar goal. They are 2-8-20. Old Haileybury 2-4-16. Approaching 16 minutes gone in the second term. It's been the visitors who've stunned the Bloods to start this game. Another inside 50. It's a hat kick in the direction of Healy. He couldn't take the mark on the arc of 50. They'll wrestle over it again, and the umpire will throw it up again.
We've seen a lot of the ball around this area today, haven't we? That high half-forward area for Delar. They're doing a good job of contesting. They're just lacking that really big marking option. I mean, Healy's doing a great job so far. We want to see him get a hold of a few, but they just need to break this game open a little bit.
Vaughan got the tap down. Filipovic was there at ground level. He lost possession of the footy. And then Indovino was caught a tackle. We'll get another stoppage. This game's ebbed and flowed. It's had moments where it's been stagnant, and then it's had moments where it's opened up and there's been some slick ball movement. Stanton with the tap down, although it's come to the advantage there of Old Haileybury. Bounce favoured on that occasion, doing nicely. There was Docking. We've got a kick out wide towards half forward. We've had a kick and a half from home here, Old Haileybury. This is the important one. Sets it up nicely. Docking continued his run. He's got it right on the paint of 50. And he's thinking about it a little bit. I think he's tempted to go for goal. He's called to play on now by the umpire, so he can't. Instead, he's got to set it up into the forward pocket. It's not a great kick. Outnumbering there with Delar, and O'Meara has taken a comfortable intercept mark on the last line of defence.
Big Jack Bell was in the goal square there too. He was screaming for it. Just put it on his head. Put it on the head of the big fella.
So O'Meara has had it a long time on this last line defence. Eventually called to go by the umpire. Goes short. And it's an effective pass into the back pocket.
I think that's Williams. He's been very busy today for Delar.
Williams now to Fisher. Thank you, Hugo. As a player ID, it's the lead as anyone in the competition here is Hugo Higginbotham. And Filipovic now at half back. So now it's Delar's turn to just play the slow waiting game. Happy to do so while they maintain possession of the footy.
I study every player's profile of an evening. Should I say that? I don't know.
I think you should.
Filipovic comes back to O'Meara, who gathers it on the bounce. Hand pass over the top to... Oh, in fact, just getting the kick away there was Carvelis. It's not a great one. It put Inter under the pump. He gets a hand pass out and it goes over the boundary line and we'll get a throw in.
So, update on Nick Buffalo, thanks to Autosport Victoria with Sarah Burt in the boundary.
He's just having a rest on the bench. He got a knee to the ribs and he's still feeling pretty winded, so he's just having a break for now, guys.
It's good news considering we thought it could have been a concussion, so hopefully Nick Buffalo's ribs are okay. Bowen rins it down at his feet to Amendola, who lost control of the footy and was tackled to the ground while he had lost it, so it's a free kick going to him against Sievers. Amendola left half back for D-Lar. They're ahead by 4 points. 20 plays 16. Giampa's got it. This is Hugo's man. Watch this kick picked out. He goes wide towards Indovino. Williams failing that. He went for a ride. He got nowhere near the footy, did Jakey Williams.
What is it with those horizontal aerial efforts on that part of the ground?
You can see the whites of his eyes here 60 metres away from that contest. He's given away a free kick for an unrealistic attempt. So now Old Haileybury from right half back just cannot get any sort of movement going as we approach time on in this second term. Well, thanks to Advertising Associates. Here's Stefanakis. So he just wanders his way out of that contest. Andreas Stefanakis has run too far. The umpire with no sense of theatre is Andreas Stefanakis. You can see the head bobbling from side to side.
Good grief.
For VFL Tragics, he's got a striking similarity to Anthony Anastasio, who made a great career for himself out at Port Melbourne. Here's Amendola. He's going to put the kick into the mixer. Damashki's behind the footy. He might go at ground level here, Sasha. Lays a big tackle. That's his bread and butter. It'll be thrown up 30 metres out from the D-Lar goal.
No sense of theatre, the umpires sometimes, do they? They pay kicks, they pay marks that are 5 metres long, and then they don't pay that. I don't.
Oh, roving it really well and kicking for goal. There was Curtis Day. Sharked the hit out to perfection and slammed it through. Well, all happened in the blink of an eye. In fact, it was Williams, my apologies. Well, that's a shame. It's a goal of the day contender for Bedshed Dandenong. No one's better in the bedroom. Well done to Jacob Williams. Sharked it nicely, put it through. 3-8-26, sorry, Hugo. 3-8-26 D-Lar. Old Haileybury 2-4-16, I think it was. And that's on the second term scoreboard for Advertising Associates. Hugo.
Just saying a little bit deeper entry there from D-Lar and probably move the ball a bit quicker as well. And then that forward defensive pressure. But Williams, he's having a heap of it today. I know he's out on the wing at the moment too, so something new for him. But, that was just a great roving goal there.
So Jacob Williams, the two-time Woodrow medalist, he's still doing his best work into his 30s for D-Lar. Giampa went past the footy behind this centre throw-up, came to Bell. The big ruck for Old Haileybury. That was a kick that wasn't intended for Harrop, but fell in his lap anyway. Now Charlie's got a big leg on him. Man on the mark stands at 48 metres. He's well outside the arc. He's going back with some intent, now pointing towards goal. So Harrop, right footer, out of Beau Morris and the Sandy Dragons. Playing his VFL footy for North Melbourne this year. 16 disposals last week against the Blacks. Now at the arc at 50. Gives it all he's got, which is well and truly enough. And Charlie Harrop, he breaks a bit of a drought for the Bloods. They hadn't kicked a goal since Matthias Rose's effort at the 5-minute mark of this second term. Harrop puts it one through at the 21 minute mark. And D-Lar now to 3-4-22. Just keeping D-Lar in check in this game. They still trail this one, D-Lar 3-8-26. So it's the Bloods who are just trying, Hugo, to get their movement going, but I reckon Daniel Ward wouldn't be stoked that all their goals have come from long-range efforts so far.
No, probably not when he spoke of the focus of the deeper entries, but that was a great goal there. And you marked that one down before he kicked it there, Paddy, I know. You had him every day of the week.
Seckle rode the tap out from Bell, kicks deep towards full forward. It's come off hands to Stefanakis. Oh, and he's missed. A let off again for D-Lar. Stefanakis, normally so reliable around goal. Just a couple today. It's 3-5-23. Old Haileybury. D-Lar 3-8-26. 22 minutes gone here in this second term for Advertising Associates. They'll bring it back in here. This time it is Day. Drives it out towards half back. Playing in front, Dean Johns takes the strong overhead mark. Got it out of the back line well enough of D-Lar. Dean Johns with a kick down towards the wing. Big fly in from the side there from Bell. Couldn't take the mark. Falls to ground level. Bowden's there at the bottom of the pack. I wouldn't call it a hand pass, but the ball's come out to Williams. Goes the hand pass over the top. Might be to his detriment though. Rose steps around traffic nicely on the left boot. Straightens up. High kick towards half forward. Numbers favour D-Lar here, although neither of them could take the mark. And now it's fallen to Harrop. Kick inside 57. Arcus going back with a flight. He's marked it. He plays on. He gets past one. And he's pushed over the line. Great defensive effort by Sean Fisher. turned a certain goal into a point. And D. Lara have won it back. Excellent defensive craft. And it's only a minor score, and it should have been a certain goal, Hugo.
Absolutely, that should have been. Why on earth would he have played on there? Easy mark. As a coach, you just get that frustrated with that. I'm getting frustrated again now, Paddy. I've been out of the game for 6 months.
Hugo was a picture of absolute shock when Stefanakis played on from a mark 10 metres out from goal to try and run it in.
He was about to pick up the phone and tell the runner to bring him to the bench.
What is that, a Clarko?
Holes in the wall here in South Caulfield. Will be thrown in, far side wing. As far as territory goes, slightly advantaging the Bloods, though Filipovic, that's Tom who's got it. Back to Buffalo. Good to see him back out there. Not a great handball. Harrop's on the scene. Buffalo will go again. Steps to the inside. Left-handed handball. Back to Filipovic. And now back to Day. So Delar do it pretty well. Day was corralled towards the boundary line. Williams a big leaper down the wing for that contest from a high-arcing kick. Rose for the Bloods, just a handball to Bell, who tried to fire it on. Sinclair was held on to. Umpire called play on. Harrop now back to Bell. This is all taking place in the far side wing. It's frenetic, it's sloppy. Finally it comes loose. It'll get through to Stanton. Indovino just needs to pick it up. Does so and Delar are out. Here's Giampa. Goes for to Amendola. He's cluttered into by Connell. Rainer Seckel wins it back for the Bloods, and they'll go through this far side wing again. Looks like Bell.
Bell's got on the right boot, kicks in towards the middle of the ground. Good mark by Goodawardner, and he gets the hand pass off. Houghton, one more kick inside 50. Over the head of Stefanakis. Jones was down there, neither could gather it cleanly. Dean Johns was dispossessed. Hand pass comes to Fisher, and now Buffalo's back on the ground. Good to see. Gets it and drives it out towards the wing. There's space here for Paddy's boy Damashki. He's got it. Judged it well. He wants to go, but there's not a lot of options here for him. Comes back with a kick into the middle of the ground. Works. Now this is the important kick. Healy goes deep inside attacking 50. Cameron brought it to ground. Now it's come out to Amendola. Gets the hand pass away to Filipovic. That got his name wrong there. Butchered that one. Good thing he missed it. Won't go on the highlights reel. Minus score 3-9-27. D-Lar, Haileybury 3-6-24.
So they could be and should be, Hugo, further in front at this stage, D-Lar. They've missed a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, look at that scoreboard. 3-9. 3-9. 9-3. Different ball game then.
Harrop at the point of his defensive side of the centre square. Takes a mark and then goes to Durris Seckel. Even further out wide. The soccer field side of the ground, a long way from us. Durris Seckel just stubbed his toe on the kick a little bit. Gave Fisher a chance to come from 3 deep to get over the top and get that ball out of play. While we get a stoppage, boys, let's go briefly around the grounds for Crabtree's Real Estate. St Kevin's up by 23 points over the Blues at the TH King. It's Collegians by 11 over the University Blacks at Melbourne Uni Oval. Olds Avarians by 9 at St Bernard's College over the Snow Dogs. And still we've got that quarter-time score out at Brighton Beach Oval where it's Scotch by 4 points. Here's Mateus Rose from the throw-in. On the left, tumbles it towards the arc of 50. Goodawardner's going to try and get through here. Makes the take. Stefanakis is loose. He's been caught by Day. Goodawardner goes again. Something out of nothing for Cody. It was 12 metres out from goal, just threw a boot at it, and it rolled through for him. And old Haileybury needed that. They're 4-6-30. They're back in front. D-Lar 3-9-27. Well into time on now in this second term, all thanks to Advertising Associates, delivering successful work for our clients for over 30 years, Hugo.
Well, I was just going to mention that, Paddy, right into what we call red time, and you don't want to give anything up in this red time. And then that was just a great surging goal by Haileybury there. I mean, Goonawardner, he always looks threatening, and he was going to insert himself in the goal. I got very nervous when Stefanakis got involved there. I mean, he'd be still thinking about that last one. He'd be absolutely ruining that.
So 3-1 to the term in favour of the hosts, and they'll look to get the clearance again. Gasparini with the hand pass out, and now a spearing pass inside 50. Oh, it's gone over the head of Jones. Fisher gathered it, gets the kick out towards the back flank. It's trickling towards the boundary line. Higgins with the tackle. It's stayed in play for a little longer, but now it's gone out of play, and it'll be a boundary throw in. It's 3-2 to 1-5 for the quarter. So they've certainly,
1-5.
Yeah, so they've certainly had their opportunities this term, have D-Lar Salle. They only trail by 3 points, though, as we approach time on, as we go well into time on, rather, in this second term. Ball's kicked to the wing. D-Lar with the numbers here. Can they gather it cleanly? Indovino there, he's caught. And the umpire will call for it. We'll get a stoppage now, centre wing far side. Second term brought to you by Advertising Associates.
So we go back in the middle then, right next to the centre circles. Tom Filipovic at ground level. Goes backwards. That's not a great kick. It's picked off by Sievers, who wants to play on. Didn't find any options in the corridor that he liked, so he set it up for Harrapin on one-on-one. He did well, Charlie. Won the ball down. Stefanakis is there at ground level. Amendola's with him. Day's got to get rid of it to Giampa. Did so neatly. Now back to Day. Fires it to Fisher. So left half back for D-La. Fisher took it on the bounce. Has Bowden or Cameron alongside him. Cameron did well. Got loose. Stefanakis with him now. Cameron fires the handball ever forward. Amendola through traffic. Pendlebury-esque. Just walked through. They'll give it to Fraser Cameron, who's shot out of the gun across half back. Goes inside 50. Buffalo crashes the pack. Brings the ball down. D-La moved it forward so well, and now the movement will stop 35 metres out with a stoppage.
Well, that was great play by D-La there, that little surge, that really good efforts by Amendola there. I think he'll get that tape of the mention of Pendlebury and him in the same sentence there, but no, it was very good movement.
30 minutes gone now for Hugo in this second term. Healy lays a big tackle inside forward 50. We'll do it all again.
Just noticed Buffalo coming out of the square now, so they're probably trying to protect him a little bit. He's a very sore boy at the moment.
Well, he competed like he wasn't, went up against two, brought the ball down. Here's Stefanakis, who's around the footy. They're trying to get him into the game. He lays another tackle. So I can't get this ball to move out of this 5 metre zone, Matthew Donald. Why about you? Have a go.
I promise I'll try. I promise I'll try, Paddy.
All of Haileybury around the stoppage here.
So tap down there by Bohan, gets it towards goal. It's going to be gathered here by Old Haileybury. The hand pass comes out to Houghton, sidestep nicely, and then he gets another hand pass away. Clearing kick goes out of the defensive 50. It's wide, too wide in fact. It's out of bounds on the full. Dean Johns to take the kick, centre wing. He just goes short. That's okay. So still at least a good 2 kicks from goal here, De La Salle. Want to try and regain the lead before half-time. High kick goes inside 50. Healy with a huge fly. Did everything but mark it. The hand pass comes out to Bohan. He had to go down low. Couldn't pick it up. And then Damashki with the tackle. And the umpire will call for it. It was a big fly from Healy, who's making his presence felt in this second term. One's going to stick eventually for him, you'd think. It's tossed up again. Bohan with the tap down. And then a clearing kick out of there again from Old Haileybury. Anywhere will do, although it's been turned over. They'll get an opportunity to set it back inside 50. Stanton is behind the ball. He takes the mark, and there's no way he's going to kick it from there, but he's going to try anyway.
Surely not.
Is the umpire going to give him a fighting chance?
No,
the umpire's waved him off.
The umpire's given up on him.
He said no chance. So that brings to an end a really positive first half of footy for D-La, but they do go in trailing here. They are 3-9-27 in South Caulfield. Old Haileybury 4-6-30. Hugo Higginbotham.
Yeah, look, it's been a great contest. It's been a little bit of a mistake off out there sometimes, that Aaron handball, but that's indicative of the pressure. And look, this is not a massive ground either. This is not a huge ground, but D-La are really happy to persist with getting lots of numbers around the ball. And one thing I've noticed, when D-La move the ball fast, they can get into some open space. That's when they look dangerous. But if they take that time and slow it down a little bit, that's where it comes into Haileybury. But Haileybury have probably struggled with those entries forward, and that's been telling. But the tale might be the 1-5 for D-La in the quarter. A tale of missed opportunities there, Paddy.
It's the Bloods by 3 points at halftime. Our KPA Lawyers halftime show is coming up on the other side of this.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for one male and one female player, aged 20 years or under, who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
Is your club celebrating a player milestone? Let us know at VAFA Media and we'll feature it in the Amateur Footballer. We're always on the lookout for stories that acknowledge outstanding achievements and the clubs behind them. Email us at media@vafa.com.au.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45pm.
Half-time in South Caulfield, Old Haileybury 4-6-30, Dealer Salle 3-9-27. A contested and tight game of footy. Dealer have come out to play in what is the Premier B Grand Final rematch of sorts here in top flight footy. It's been an interesting game. Hugo Higginbotham, how did you see that first half?
Thanks, Paddy. It was the first half that we were really hoping for. So we wanted to see that good physical contest. We've got two sides who absolutely know each other and have the utmost respect for each other, but absolutely what a win. Nothing else matters. The score, the ladder doesn't matter at the moment. It's winning the game today. But I've been really impressed with both sides at stages. There's been moments when it seemed to be a tale of mistakes a little bit, a missed handball here, but that's indicative of the pressure as well, and guys rising to the occasion.
We've got a bumper halftime show coming up, all thanks to KPA Lawyers. Before we get to that, let's go around the grounds for Crabtree's Real Estate. So Old Zaverians, 6-4-40, leading St Bernard's 4-6-30 at the Snake Pit, so the Zavs by 10 there. Over at the TH King at St Kevin's, 10-3-63, leading the University Blues 6-3-39, 24-point leaders, the Scobbers. And at Melbourne University Oval, it's the Blacks 4-6-30, trailing by 17 points, Collegians 7-5-47. This is the halftime show thanks to KPA Lawyers, located in Melbourne's beautiful bayside suburbs of Sandringham and Mornington. KPA Lawyers has a reputation in its community for exceptional service to its clients and the broader community. We've got a pair of presidents, Hugo, in the commentary box for us. Matt Armstrong, the president of Old Haileybury, and Greg Nichols, the president of De La Salle. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Matt, we'll start with you first. How have you done this with the weather today? It is one of the most gorgeous days for football that I reckon I've seen since the season started. I'm told it's usually quite windy here in South Caulfield. There's not a breath of it out there today.
Yeah, it can be, Paddy. It can be quite windy here, but if you have a look at our brochure, we normally turn this weather on for our home games. But and the ground's a good nick too. It's been the council's done a bit of work on the ground, so the ground's in pretty good nick after cricket season. So certainly a great day for football.
There's a pumping function going on behind our commentary box.
Yeah,
what's the occasion today?
We had a luncheon today. It was a family and friends luncheon where we welcomed some of the new families back to the club, and we had some old stalwarts of the club talking a bit about the history of the club and where we've built towards today and the culture that we've got. So it was a good luncheon. We had about 80 people there, and as you can hear in the background, maybe it's sort of a few of them are still kicking on.
Greg Nichols, you're the president of DLA. Were you welcome in the luncheon?
No, I resisted that opportunity.
I did speak to Greg about it.
Matt gave me an opportunity, and we both agreed that this is really an Old Haileybury function, and such an important element of the club is bringing people together, Paddy. So I relinquished the opportunity.
For the record, Paddy, we are a welcoming club. We always welcome the opposition, yes. But today was a bit of a different
I didn't
luncheon.
feel
goes without saying.
No, that's good. Yeah.
It goes without saying. Daniel Ward did walk up to me and said, if you boys want any food, sort us out. Sarah Burt, if you want any food, just give me a yell. I'll bring something over. So we feel very welcome. Thank you for your hospitality. I want to ask this question to both of the presidents, but Matt, I might start with you. The trip up to top flight footy. We saw last year Fitzroy won the 5 games, but they headed straight back down. They probably struggled a little bit. St Bernard's, they just got out of jail towards the end of the season, and 5 wins for them as well. How tough is it as a football club to make the adjustment to top flight footy?
Yeah, it's a big step, Paddy. I mean, we recognised that 2 years ago when we came up, when we won B grade and went up to A grade, and we did that. We went back down again, and it was the narrowest of margins. But we recognised depth was something we had to deal with, and You know, there is a big step up. Greg and I were just sort of touched on it before when we were talking that step up, and you really need to kind of recruit and make sure that your bottom six are strong, but also recruit at the top end. So, yeah, it is a big difference in standard.
Greg, same question to you, but I believe it might be a different approach for D-La because your last season in top flight was 2019, and I remember a lot of the language that I heard in the rooms when you were winning preliminary final against Old Trinity last year was about we are an A-grade club, we have A-grade standards, that's where we want to be. How's it been for the footy club over the off-season and through the start of 2025?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a big attraction about being in a section club, no doubt about that. But the reality is that you don't deserve, you've got to earn it. You just can't participate. And we're slowly learning. I think we've improved every game. The tempo, the boys have picked the tempo up, but it's a privilege to play in this level of competition, and you've got to play to that standard. Now people do appreciate that they've got to elevate themselves beyond where they were last year. And, of course, the boys got towed up big time last year in the grand final. So there's an extra incentive, but I don't think they're overawed necessarily, but they do appreciate that the tempo is different and that they need to step up.
You mentioned the grand final last year. I love the little rivalry that's developed between these two clubs. You played off 4 times last year. 1 win for D-La at this very ground back in round 14, 3 for Old Haileybury. How have you seen the rivalry develop over the last few years?
Paddy, I'm a novice. D-La, my first initiation with D-La was in January this year when I was appointed president. So it's a little bit difficult to answer that in great depth. But certainly the respect is there for this club and the way that they've conducted themselves, and particularly the brand of football that they play. It's fast, it's slick, handball focused, and they just run to space. So our people truly recognise how successful the club's been, and they're not necessarily emulating their style, but certainly learning a lot from the way Old Haileybury play.
So, question for both of you, and we might start with you, Matt. The job you're in, one of the most thankless ones. You deal with all the problems, you shield the coaches from everything. How do you handle the outside expectation? Now, Matt, you got a big lunch on today, and football supporters in general are the most impatient people in the world. They want everything yesterday, and they want unbridled success. So how do you handle that, and how do you differentiate between what's going on the inside and then metering that on the outside?
It's a good question, Hugo. You do get a lot of feedback in this position, but I think you've got to really just listen to people. I think it's people do want to share their thoughts around their views on the footy club, and I think you've got to allow them to have a voice and listen to them, and then from there I think that ideas that are good, that we think we can embrace, we show that we do listen. And then others, you've just got to give a bit of context behind perhaps why we can't go down that path. But I think you've got to really focus on the direction that you're heading. We've got 5 key strategic focus areas that we focus on, and we think everything fits into those areas. So if something doesn't, we question whether we go down that path. So I think you've just got to really focus on the direction that you've decided to head, and then try to filter out the things that don't fit into that from there.
Matt, can you let us behind the curtain a little bit with those 5 key strategic areas?
Yeah, sure. So we're focused on the 5 areas: a football, culture, revenue, engagement, and a player wellbeing and support program, which has 6 key pillars to it around mental health, respect, responsibility, gambling, alcohol, racial vilification, concussion, and career support. So it's all about supporting our people and having some conversations, some things going on in society, so some conversations around some important topics, but then having some support mechanisms behind that. We've advanced some of those initiatives. We've got club counsellors in place, etc., and we just put together a really well-connected Haileybury and business leaders career committee that can help our people with career opportunities. So
quite broad areas there. Do you have specific people in charge of the specific area, or is it an overlapping sort of system you have there?
We have it's driven by the committee, and then we've got some key people that are driving various aspects of that. So I've got a meeting with the Haileybury head of sport coming up to develop how we develop better pathways to senior footy for school boys and girls. And as an example, we're looking to build what we call a footy foundation. So one of our committee members, Lex Lazary, who's a Supreme Court judge, he's going to take and roll with that one. So it's just finding people with the right credentials to drive the various parts of those programs.
So, Greg, you've just started at this footy club. What kind of culture have you found, and what kind of coach have you found in Nick Highland?
Nick is an intriguing fellow. He's a student of the game, self-admits that his football ability was limited, but has a very astute brain, understands the style of play that accommodates the calibre of player that we've got and extracts the best value out of them. So very astute young fellow. I think he's got a long way. He's got a future ahead of him, whether it's with us, which we hope it will be, but if not, if he does progress to VFL and beyond, then that's even better.
This is the halftime show, all thanks to KPA Lawyers. We're with Old Haileybury President Matt Armstrong and D-La Salle President Greg Nichols. Gentlemen, let's talk about this game. The language around D-La has been on improving every week. Last week, Nick told me, Greg, that it was their most complete and consistent performance. They managed to reduce their lapses in a loss to the University Blues. This time out, Greg, it feels like this is their best performance. They've been unbelievable in this first half, just lacking the conversion at this stage. How have you seen it?
I think you've summed it up pretty well, Paddy. Both sides are extremely combative as well as competitive. Focus on the ball. Been mistakes, but I think that's a consequence of the pressure that's been applied by both sides. So our players have stood up to it quite well. A couple of opportunist goals, which tells you that you've got quality people you've got to keep an eye on in their forward line. But generally, we're happy with our performance. But of course, it's all about results. It's a results-driven sport, and let's see where we are in 60 minutes.
Matthew, I'll give you the final word as we head to the break. You've played 300 games for this footy club, played in 3 flags yourself. What do you want to see in this second half?
I want to see them move the ball a bit better. I think we've been a bit fumbly, and this is the fumbly game for us. I haven't seen us miss targets like that for this year. But, that's credit to D-La. I think that's real credit to the pressure that D-La have put on us. So I think just a bit cleaner with the footy and better inside 50s in terms of how we go in there.
Well, Greg, Matthew, thank you so much for joining us as part of our halftime show. All thanks to KPA Lawyers. Really appreciate your hospitality, Matthew, and letting us set up here in the commentary box. It's been a great day. All the best for the rest of this game.
Pleasure. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Paddy.
The third quarter and the second half, indeed, from South Caulfield on the other side of this break.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45pm.
Yes, welcome back to South Caulfield. We've got a bonza second half in store here. It's Old Haileybury 4-6-30 leading D-La Salle 3-9-27 at the long break. You're with Paddy Grindlay, Matthew Donald and Hugo Higginbotham on the SEN Match of the Day. Ammo's footy coming from the southeast of Melbourne. Let's quickly go down to Sarah Burt, who's our boundary rider today, for her notes after half-time. Sarah?
Hey guys, just had a chat with both the coaches. Nick Highland of D-La is very happy. He essentially said, keep up the good work, guys, keep up the intensity. Make sure you stick to them because they're not going to let us get it easy, but we're really happy with how we are playing. Daniel Ward said that they need to be cleaner with the ball. They're missing 5-metre handballs. They need to take their time. If they catch you, so be it, but take your time, relax, and really try and let yourself settle into the game.
Fantastic coverage from Sarah Burt on the boundary. Thank you very much for that. Hugo Higginbotham, you agree with that assessment from both coaches?
Absolutely. There's, D-La should be really happy. Probably a little bit disappointed with the kicking aspect, but and old Haileybury just must be that frustrated with their ball movement at the moment. But my day's complete because you got Bonza into the call before. I heard it, so I'm looking for a Bonza contest here, Paddy.
Look after you, Hugo. Don't ever say I don't do it. Our third quarter coming up shortly for Better Pack, your go-to e-commerce 3PL, 4PL and packing solutions provider. Another score around the grounds at Community TV game. It's a really interesting one, this one, because Old Brighton have kicked 3 goals 16, but they lead Old Scotch at Brighton Beach Oval. Here's Matthew Donald for the bounce.
Bell and Stanton to get us underway to start this second half. Both rucks got tapped down to it. It's Amendola who wins the first clearance. They kick the half forward, works. That's Filipovic who's got it now. Sebastian spirals a low, flat mongrel punt inside attacking 50. It's going to be turned over. Clearing kick comes out here, this side of the ground. Now it's going to be appeals for insufficient intent here. And the umpire's call for a boundary throw in. That was an interesting one because there wasn't anyone near the play. Got away with it there, did old Haileybury.
So at half-time score at Brighton Beach Oval on Community TV, Old Brighton 3-16-34, Old Scotch 2-2-14, Matthew.
So the ball's going to be tossed back in. Thank you for that, Paddy.
And you got away with it too, Matty, in that call before.
Bell with the tap down. Filipovic was caught in a strong tackle there by Rose. He was the only multiple goal scorer in the match so far, and he gets the free kick for holding the football. He goes up the line with a trusty left foot kick. Big pack of players fly. It's hit the ground level though, over the top to Docking, who's back at the side. He walks inside 50. He's within range here. The kick's coming back, but not enough. It's a minor score. The first behind of the second half. 4-7-31 Old Haileybury. They've extended their lead out to 4 points. D-La 3-9-27, and that is on the Better Back scoreboard.
Hasn't been a lot of goals kicked at that end today. Must be very, very deceptive because that was one like shelling peas that would have been. But a little bit better, more ball movement there. I think we'd be happy with that, but you want to see a lot more of it.
So the Bloods kicking to the tennis club end of the ground. D-La to the cricket nets. So Ryan O'Meara, he's the young fella who's impressed us so much today. Antonio Giampa, the 17-year-old, that's not his finest effort though. Set a task for Dean Johns, who had it spoiled away from him at right half-back and out of play.
Should have marked that though, Dean Johns. He had the size on his opponent.
It was lace out in front of him. You're making excuses there, Paddy.
I've never seen someone so enamoured with a footballer as our man Hugo is with Antonio Giampa, who's been super today. Bell wins it down with the left hand. Rose is around the place looking for his third. It goes back to Bell. Neat kick into the pocket. That might stay in play for Brady Seckle. Has it? It has. So Seckle marked it right on the boundary. This would take his absolute finest from a fine midfielder. He's 50 metres out, right up against the fence at left half forward.
That kick was from Big Jack Bell on his left as well. So he must have got word of what I said about ruckman kicking the ball.
Two-time premiership player Brady Seckle, the skipper of this club. He sets the kick on its way. That has just missed to the right-hand side. That was desperately close. Brady Seckle slaps his hands together in frustration. And the Bloods, they move to 4-8-32. They lead D-La 3-9-27. This is the third term, all thanks to Better Pack.
O'Meara plays on from the kick in and kicks out to Dean Johns on the back flank. He held on to that one. Now what? Back to Fisher. Moves very quickly into that full back position once the kick in is taken. Fisher, it's happened a few times today. He says to O'Meara, all right, you've taken the kick, get out of there. It's my domain now. Fisher drives out towards the back flank. Big fly from Healy, got hands to it, couldn't take the mark. And a free kick going the way of D-La for a high fend-off. So Stanton's going to have it here now at half-back. Healy rather goes with a short kick to O'Meara, who's pushed up the ground. Now he's going to wait for Healy to get back to lead from half forward. He wants the short lead here, Healy, and he's going to get it too. He's pretty much back where his initial kick came from. They haven't gained a lot of ground here, D-La. but they've still got the footy. Healy's going to go along this time, up the wing on his left boot, goes over the head of a couple of players there. Bell was down there, taken high by Stanton, and the umpire saw it that way, so Bell's going to get the free kick at halfback.
So Jack Bell, this game has just started slowly in this second half, rather. He goes up towards half forward. Oh, big leap at the back. No mark there for D-La Salle, and now it's the Bloods. A dicing kick to Stefanakis. It was inch perfect. Andreas marks in his hands. And he just absolutely has to execute this, Andreas, who's not had a great day in front of the sticks, Hugo Higginbotham.
He hasn't, but he'll be... I hope he doesn't play on here, Paddy. But I think a few too many D-La blokes flew at that contest before and just left the small down on the ground, so an easy entry forward. But let's just see what's happening upstairs here, because this is what it'll be. It'll be, has he forgotten that last one and moved on? Or have the little gremlins got in there and talking on his shoulder?
35 metres out, not much angle to speak of. Dre loves it off the shoe. He puts it through.
He's back.
And he's pumped the number 20 for the Bloods. He puts through the Bloods' fifth of the day. They are 5-8 now, 38, leading D-La 3-9-27. It's been old Haileybury to start this second half, and this is where it's key, Hugo Higginbotham. D-La can't go to sleep. If they're having a lapse, they've got to be able to defend strongly and not concede scores here.
Is this what we've seen 4 times this year? I think we spoke about this earlier. You know, they've had a sensational first half, but you play footy for 4 quarters and you need to come out and you can have a bad 5 minutes or something like that, but this is the time right now. This is the clearance right now. They need to win this.
So it's up in the middle once again. Bell and Stanton. Bell's going to get it here. He kicks a high ball out towards half forward. Jones leading the race, gathers it on the bounce, gets away from his man, gets the hand pass away. Another kick inside 50, or it just went past Sinclair there. Here's Stefanakis again, brushes past his man, gets a hand pass out to Higgins, comes back in board, snaps it on the right, snaps it high, wide, not handsome at all. Good contest there. Playing up in the forward line all of a sudden there is Osiara. It's knocked out of play and out for a boundary throw. That's a bit of a tactical switch there. We'll get a boundary throw into the pocket for old Haileybury, who continued to do the attacking in this third term.
Higgins in that little play there. He had that extra handball he could have given him. He gets out of coming back inside and ended up being a nothing kick. So a little bit disappointing there.
The toss back into play. It's going to be Vaughan and Stanton this time. Stanton had front spot, got it to Buffalo, gets a kick out wide. It's not going to go out of play, it's going to stay in, but to their detriment, a kick inside 50 again's no good. Dean Johns read it better than anyone else. Took the hit, set mark, switches to Fisher, who wants to go. He was dealt with as he got the hand pass to O'Meara. The umpire wave play on, not a good kick. Higgins can take the mark, brushes off Miller though, and gets the hand pass away. They can go inside 50. Sinclair from outside the arc goes into the pocket. There's Dean Johns again, reading it well, taking the mark in the back pocket.
He's under pressure here, Dom Dean Johns. Wow, Tom Dean Johns it is from the right back pocket. That's good from you. He goes in the Healy on Cameron direction. Fraser got 2 hands to it, couldn't bring it down. Max Miller with the hands to Stanton, working in a phone box, got it back to Fraser Cameron. He circles back, does a 360, wants Williams. It's a well-placed kick, but it hung just for a second. Old Haileybury tried to keep it in. Here's Will Paul. He's got it in his hands, tight-roping the boundary. Now it will go out. Cameron and Paul over the top of that footy. I've noticed, Hugo, that old Haileybury with a real determination to keep the ball alive at all costs so far in this second half.
Well, it seems to be that overlap handball they want to get moving, but they are struggling with those forward entries at the moment. So you can have as many handballs as you want. You've got to take a mark in the forward line.
It's been Tom Dean Johns who's caused some issues. Fraser Cameron was looking for the high contact free kick and got it. He was head down over the footy. Sievers collected him across the top of the scone. So Fraser has played a game for Gold Coast VFL this year. Goes to Max Miller, who made his debut against the Scobbers a couple of weeks ago. That's an interesting kick into the corridor. It had to be perfect, and it wasn't, and that might let in the Bloods. Here comes Jake Black. He works his way out wide, looks for Vaughan. He'll take it on the bounce, the big fella. Picks it up, shows some agility, finds Harrop at right half forward. He ducks to the inside, goes on the left towards the hot spot. Leaping from behind with Stefanakis. Couldn't bring it down. They should run it in through Jones. He wants Stefanakis. Stefanakis wants a second. He gets a second. And Dre, he started slowly. He's worked his way into the game. He's got a pair. And old Haileybury have 6, and they're just starting to motor away here from D-La. The score moves on to 6-8-44. D-La 3-9-27. Hugo Higginbotham, they're yet to score in this quarter.
Yes, they're certainly not playing any forward half footy at the moment. They're falling down a little bit there, but I think you can just see the midfielders of Old Haileybury have really lifted their intensity, and you're seeing a better work rate as well. They're not flat-footed. They're not looking from the other side of the ground. They're getting involved there, and they're very keen to forward handball, that forward pressure. And that should have been an easy intercept mark from Dealer, but no avail.
For better pack, Matthew Donald, the 17-point margin we see now for Old Haileybury, the largest of the game.
Yeah, and we saw this last week with Dealer. The game slipped away from them in the third term. They've got to arrest this momentum very quickly. Ball back in the middle. Bohan got the tap down. Houghton gets the clearing hand pass away. It comes back to Bell. He goes out wide. And there's Houghton once more. The key player starting to lift all of a sudden for Old Haileybury. Good pressure, though, by Fisher on Jones. Forced it out for a boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the hosts.
So where does it change now, Hugo, for Dealer? What do they need to do better?
They need to get their hands on the ball in the middle of the ground. But no, they need to exit the back 50 a lot better than they are. They're getting the ball down there, but they just can't get through the press.
So Bohan and Bell once again. Bell won the tap down. Then Bohan goes and applies the tackle on Houghton. It's a good tackle. But the umpire says no, free kick. We'll get a stoppage instead. So once more, Bohan with the clearing tap away. Gained a few metres. No one able to pick it up cleanly. And then it's Day who gets a kick forward, bouncing to Filipovic, who got a bit of separation there on his man, and he was pushed in the back. So this is a big win for Dealer against Salle. Except Filipovic is going to take the free kick here, centre wing. He's not sure what to do. He's called to go by the umpire. He's going to go with the kicking ball. That's a dangerous kick. Buffalo's got to mark it, and he didn't. And now it's inside 50 all of a sudden. Oh, it's a shocking bounce. Oh, and again, it's set up perfectly for Harrop, who's going to hand it over the top. But Seven Arcus is going to get his third in the corner. It's all gone horribly in a matter of seconds for Dealer. The kicking ball and then a couple of cruel bounces. And Andreas Seven Arcus has got three in no time in this third term. 7-8-50 that Old Haileybury moved to. Dealer still haven't scored. They're stranded on 3-9-27, and that's on the third quarter score for Better Pack.
So because Dealer have a real focus on defending the back half of the ground, a lot of players down there, he just had no options forward then. And then he was too slow to move the ball into the middle of the ground. Buffalo, we know he's a bit sore with those ribs, just couldn't take that mark there, and then they were made to punish.
Yeah, decision making there. It was a 50-50 contest, and we saw Hugo Dealer's defence wasn't set up for the ball that came the other way. Bell back in the middle, taps it forward. And it's going to be Gasparini for the Bloods, back inside 50. Great spoiled by Dean Johns, who closed on Jones. He'll do well to get this ball out of bounds, and does so. So at right half forward for the Bloods, Hugo.
Yeah, well, you just see those Old Haileybury midfielders really start to take control in there, and Bell as well too. So the Dealer ruckman has been good, but he's starting to tire a little bit, I think.
Stanton's got his hands full here with Jack Bell, the former Saint, who is caught behind on this occasion. Tapped it to his bootlaces. Good tackle there by Dealer. They'll win the footy back. So it was perhaps Doherty down there. Can't quite pick out the player who's got the bright red boots on. Maybe Ethan Bowden it is. So Bowden sticks it up. Far side wing. Back with the flight. Rose takes the mark. Backs off quickly. Faces the game. Eyes darting. On the left. Goes towards full forward. Fisher with good body work. Pushing back strongly was Lingberg. He's wearing the 23 today instead of his regular 42. Strong contested grab. So it's 7-8 Old Haileybury. 3-9 Dealer. 23-point margin to last year's Premier B premiers. This ball out of bounds between wing and half forward for the Bloods. Off hands just in front of the Old Haileybury bench. Matthew Donald and Hugo Higginbotham.
So they continue to press Old Haileybury. Dealer have barely gone inside attacking 50 in this third term. Conceded 3 goals already after only conceding 4 to half time. Toss back into play. Amendola with a hand pass away, and then Houghton's gone in a 900 skateboarding move on the football field, and it's a free kick to Dealer.
I was wondering where you were going there. Oh, trouble.
It's played on here. Davino is caught by Stephen Arcus, the man of the third term.
He's been given high.
Oh, and he's been taken high. He's got away with that one in Davino.
He's filthy, is Dreas.
Oh, absolutely is. He's red hot in this third term. Indovino, this time he gets the kick away a bit quicker to half forward, and that works. Healy was pushed after he took the mark, appeals for 50-metre penalty. The umpire says no. And Healy, surely he's not going to go for goal from here.
He can try.
He might. No, instead he tries to spear a pass into the pocket. Outnumbered there is Filipovic. It's not a bad result, though, for D-La. The 1-on-2, and it goes out of play for a boundary throw-in. Down boundary side, Sarah Burt down there. Sarah? That's okay. Maybe you've got the magic larynx. Only you can call upon it, Paddy. Oh, Sarah, go ahead.
I am indeed. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm present. I'm still here. No injuries at the moment. Everything seems to be going pretty well, particularly on the Haileybury end.
Yes, that it does. Only 3 goals of this quarter, all through Andreas Stefanakis. 3 in the first 10 minutes, if you don't mind. To gap D-La. It's thrown back up. Oh, Healy's taken it out of the ruck. His kick was interrupted as it went towards goal. Amendola's got it all to do now. He'll wrestle it with Rose. And a little bit of afters as well from Rose to Amendola. Robbie played in a scratch match against the Tassie team for Sandringham last week. Back in the squad, back in the starting midfield. Damashki's around the place. Rose was really clean. Got it loose to Ned Conway. He pushes it wide. Wants docking. He'll get it over the back, Josh. Puts it forward. Jones, there's only 2 players ahead of him. One of those is Andreas Stefanakis, who takes the mark on his chest leading up. Fantastic forward craft from the Bloods, number 20. And Hugo, he's got a shot at his 4th for the quarter.
He certainly does. He's a very, very passionate young man, goes about it very hard. He was furious about that free kick he gave away in the middle of the ground. But it's a tale of, at the moment, D-La just not being able to get their hands on the ball, especially the midfielders. So every clearance now, it's just Haileybury's to do. And we know they've got a stacked midfield as well. And maybe they had an off first half, but you can only play as well as the opposition let you.
So Stefanakis, he's kicked 3 goals on 3 occasions this year. He hasn't kicked 4 yet. Now he has. Drilled it from 45 metres out in a 45-degree angle. And Stefanakis, he's got his beak into the carcass at this point. He is on fire. He has 4. Old Haileybury has 8. 8-8-56. They lead D-La 3-9-27. Matthew Donald, you're desperate.
As he was coming to kick, I was going to say put it in the book. He's one of those players who, when he's on, and he has been this 3rd term, he just can do no wrong. And he did have a great 2nd term. But he's caught fire in this 3rd term, and everything he's touching now is just going straight through the middle.
Sarah Burt's on the boundary.
Hugo Nasara from Haileybury, Old Haileybury rather, has just had his right shoulder restrapped.
Keep an eye on that one. Thank you, Sarah. It's now a 29-point Old Haileybury advantage. They have gone from woe to go in the space of 15 minutes, Matthew Donald.
So it's Stanton who wins the tap down, looking for Idale, though Houghton's going to burst away from the centre. He looks to spear it inside 50 to Stefanakis. Got hands to it. It was knocked away from him by Lingberg. It was almost a perfect breakaway from the hosts, but instead it's going to be a boundary throw it inside their attacking 50.
Now you watch him at this throw-in, Hugo. He's going to be on the march. They're going to have to put 2 defenders on him because he's going to back himself like no one else has in the history of Australian football here, Dre.
Yeah, watch out for it.
He's on the move.
He's just going to steam through this stoppage. Ball toss back in. Bell got it down. Where is Stefanakis? He's not getting the footy here. He's not going to burst through right here. I'll tell you what, who might on this occasion there, but Sievers snaps towards the goal square, and it might have just gone through for a point. It has. It's hit the post on the way through on that one-on-one contest. So 8-9-57, Old Haileybury, and who still haven't scored this season, this quarter, rather, D-La 3-9-27, and it's coming back, Paddy.
Yeah, Noziaro with that freshly strapped shoulder takes a nice back with the flight mark, and then on that precise left foot, goes into the pocket. Fisher picks it off. So Sean's had his hands full. He's had plenty of the footy today and won it himself. He's been good at the last line for D-La. He's tucked in the right back pocket for the blue and yellow. And there is nothing on for him, so he's just going to dump it down the line, hoping for Dean Johns, who leapt into the leg of Noziara. Neither got a hand to the footy, and it bounced out of play.
Really good setup there by Haileybury. They seem to be pressing up very, very high this quarter, but they've changed it around a little bit, and it is paying dividends. There is no space out there for D-La at the minute.
If you've just joined us on the SEN app, Andreas Stefanakis has kicked 4 goals in 15 minutes, and the Bloods have a game-high 30-point advantage. Filipovic's around the place. It's hacked forward by Connell of the Bloods. It took a wicket bounce and skipped away from Harrop. Behind the contest now, Carvelis has it. It went out of play before it was handballed to him. So 55 metres out from the Bloods' goal. That's where it's lived in this 3rd term, all thanks to Better Pack. And they are 8-9-57. D-La 3-9-27 approaching time on Matthew Donald.
So it's tossed back in. There's Amendola's trying to crash through, and he might have got a free kick here. He has. He's calling through it quickly as well. Comes off his mark and looks to switch the kick out wide, and that works. There's space here. Miller's got it. Held his width nicely on the wing. And he goes with a kick to Damashki at half forward. Here Conway, it's bounced perfectly for Damashki. Bursts away, goes for goal, and he's pushed it wide. It was a good bit of play. Nice transition there from D-La, but only a minor score for it. 3-10-28. They trail Old Haileybury 8-9-57 on the scoreboard here in this third term for Better Pack.
Speed of ball movement was a lot better there. They got a transition very quickly to advantage. It's hard to defend that. You were disappointed with that one, Paddy. You wanted that, didn't you?
I was a bit flat. Rose goes down the far side wing. It's just been picked off again by the Bloods, who were moving the ball so well. It was Hugo Lynch who went in the Jones direction. Fisher and Carvelis around the place. It'll go out of bounds. Maybe on the full there. Was it peeling Fisher? No, it'll be thrown in. Let's take the opportunity to go around the grounds. That's all thanks to Crabtree's Real Estate. We haven't got a live score out of Brighton and Scotch. Oh, we do now, actually. Apologies. 4-19 the Tunners, 43. Old Scotch 3-5-23 elsewhere. It's Old Haileybury. It's the Kevins by 14 points over the Blues so far, and Collegians by 23 over the University Blacks as D-La win a free kick from the stoppage, Matthew.
They do, and they drive the kick up towards the wing. Bohan applying the tackle there. We'll get a stoppage. We need to delve into the archives, find out what the record is for the most behinds kicked by a team in a game.
419 is criminal.
I think at VFL, AFL level, Hawthorn have it with 41 in a match. But I don't know what it is for VAFA.
You haven't looked at your notes either, Matthew. That's straight off the dome. That's impressive stuff.
Meanwhile, Bell had it, lost it, got it again. The hand pass comes away. Conway had it. And now Nazario is back on the ground, has a bounce and back in defence as well on the left boot. Tries to hit up a lead. No mark taken, but Sinclair roved it beautifully. Kicks towards full forward. Fisher flew, couldn't take the mark. Hits the ground, gets the hand pass again. Carvalis with the kick out of there. Out towards the wing. Bouncing ball gathered nicely. They're away here, D-La Salle. Got to use the footy nicely. Kick to half forward works. Then Davino's got it. 2 kicks from home. He's stepped off his mark. He's called to go now by the umpire on the left boot. Kicks it high towards the pocket. Who's prepared to fly? No mark taken. Buffalo was down there, and then Williams diving on top of the footy. He was taken high, and the umpire saw that. He dived on top of the football. He would have been penalised, but he got caught high, and he'll get a free kick inside attacking 50 for D-La Salle.
Much better build-up by D-La there. They've defended really, really well. Big Fishy, he's had a great game today. He probably doesn't have a bad one, does he, Paddy? But he's defended really solidly down there.
So Jacob Williams back in the side for the first time since round 2. He's kicked just the 1 goal this season. Boy, the D-La need this one. It's going to be a tough kick, though. He'll be kicking from about 45 metres out. Tight angle, suits the left footer. It's going to go close. He's got it! Yes! Big goal for Jacob Williams. Just what D-La Salle needed. They've broken the run of goals in this third term, and they've got one the other way. 4-10-38. They trail Old Haileybury 8-9-57 on the third term scoreboard for Better Pack. Better Pack, you go to e-commerce, 3PL, 4PL, and packing solutions provider Hugo Higginbotham.
They needed one there, D-La, against the trend, but I'm really, really curious to have a look at this midfield matchup now, because Haileybury have been very, very dominant in that. I mean, that goal came off the back of a great piece of defensive work, and then some fast ball movement as well. And doesn't it always seem that every time Indovino's around the ball, something seems to happen?
I think, Hugo, they've been poorer for the absence of Nick Buffalo in this second half with his sore ribs, which we know about. Filipovic has the footy here for D-La. He might take the advantage here, Filipovic. Oh, we call back.
I think Cameron's got it.
Yeah, so Fraser Cameron, defensive point, or edge rather, of the centre circles. He wants Bowden wants the footy wide. Cameron hasn't seen him yet. Now we'll get in his bike. So Fraser sits it up towards the arc. It's a shallow entry again. Indovino will fly with Healy. Neither could bring it down. There's Tom Filipovic. He's been tackled off the footy, holding the ball. And here come Old Haileybury the other way. It's a scrubby kick that on the bounce just might eventually get to Vaughan, who takes it now. He was dispossessed, holding the ball in turn. D-La take the advantage as well. Fraser Cameron goes deep. Filipovic behind the footy. It fell down his front. That's Seb. A bit of friendly fire down there. The umpire will lock the ball up there as a D-La player down. It looked like it was Seb Filipovic who caught him high.
It's Buffalo's
been in the wars, yeah.
Poor fella.
So we'll just hold play for a moment. I think Sarah Burt's seen more of Nick Buffalo than she has of us for this broadcast, because he has been constantly in the wars. He's waving off the trainer, though, and making his way back to the goal square, Nick. So I dare say the trainer might be trying to urge him to get off the ground, but Nick's having none of it. So the ball will be thrown back up, 10 metres out from the D-La goal. Behind the contest we go. Bowen's tracking it. Tom Filipovic reached to foot at it. It was a handball. Day attempts to lay a tackle. The Bloods chain out by hand. They'll get all the way to the arc of defensive 50 where Fraser Cameron ushers it out. So we are 55 metres out from the D-Lar goal. They're 4:10:34. Old Haileybury 8:9:57, approaching 24 minutes gone in this third quarter, all thanks to Better Pack.
So toss back in at half forward for D-Lar. They'd love to get another one as we approach three-quarter time. And they'll be able to get the football here. They'll get it inside 50. Giampa again. The hand pass comes out to Mashke. Gets around 1, 2. Straightens up on the right boot. Can he find a teammate inside 50? Yes, he can. Just inside 50. It's a good mark taken by Doherty. He might be too far out to score. He thinks he is, so he hands it over to Healy. Proper worm burner inside 50. Asking an awful lot there of Buffalo. I think that is again. Indovino, rather. I saw the 7, I guessed. It's going to be tossed up again inside attacking 50 for D-Lar. They're pressing. They've got the game back on their terms in this third term. Bohan got the tap down, then grabbed out of the ruck and tries to take on about 4 blokes. He's caught and will do it again.
To see the intensity from D-Lar's really lifted the last couple of minutes.
Absolutely it has. Here's Bohan, tried to grab it out of the ruck, then applies the tackle, tries for ball, umpire wave, play on, hand pass comes out, he's Doherty, tries to crash to a tackle, gets a hand pass away, and about a few seconds after he'd hand passed the footy, the umpire's pinged him, holding the ball, free kick going the way of Old Haileybury to be taken by Sinclair in defence.
So Charlie, not much behind him, sorry Hugo, so we'll kick it towards us, broadcast side. Stanton is there for D-Lar. It carried the pack. Bowden has Rose to deal with, wanted to go backwards, lost control of the footy and he's gone. So a few successive holding the ball free kicks, this one by Rose of the Bloods. Wants the corridor and Brady Seckle, who has runners darting by, completes the switch. It's in the hands of Noziara, usually makes good decisions. This no exception. Hits Jones. So Harrison marks on the edge of the 50-metre arc. At right half forward for the Bloods. Opportunity to put through his team's 9th. So Jones, 10 goals this season. He's been quiet today. Yet to trouble the scorers. 2 bags of 3 this year and a constant presence up front. A great finish to last year. Kicked 13 goals in the last 3 weeks of the season, including 4 in the grand final against D-Lar. Harrison Jones, no problems. Just drilled it. Ran off casually while the ball was mid-flight. Hadn't even got close to the goalpost. He knew all about it. And Old Haileybury move on to 9-9-63. We're in full control of this game of footy, Matthew Donald, as the score just disappears off the scoreboard, so apologies to D-Lar, but I can tell you the lead is still hovering around 5 goals. Hugo?
I was going to say, that's a frustrating one for D-Lar. They lifted their intensity. They were playing some front half footy, couldn't maintain it in there, and we are deep into red time as well, so that's a really disappointing one to give away. They got a few against the trend of the quarter. Frustrating stuff.
So again, we've seen it a couple of times, red time goals in this match for Old Haileybury, and there's another one. Just to snuff out the late challenge in this term that D-Lar had provided. They're continuing to press. Cameron got the hand pass away. Gasparini off to Bell, who's got a bit of space on the right boot. Kicks inside attacking 50. Harrop gathered it cleanly in the one hand. Gives it off to Gunawardno, who snaps for goal. It's gone well across the face, and it's a minor score. So one behind. They've extended it to 9-10-64 Old Haileybury. 27 minutes gone in this final term. Even 5-goal game. D-Lar 4-10-34, and that's on the Better Pack scoreboard.
We'll go around the grounds briefly. So thanks to Crabtree's Real Estate. Old Brighton by 25 points over Old Scotch. The Old Zavarians by 15 over St Bernard. So they're the 2 key games which you can watch on either Community TV or on VAFA.com.au as D-Lar come towards us. Broadcast side, Fraser Cameron and Stanton there. And it's the latter, Tom Stanton, who takes the mark ahead of Jack Bell. Stanton just lacing the kick in the Bowen direction. He did really well. 2 bites at the cherry, couldn't bring it down. Houghton handballed backwards to Gasparini. Williams has it now to Amendola. He's brought down. Got it to Damashki. Darts inside. Giampa goes through. Nice handball to Cameron. Puts it nice and wide. A great closing spoil. That was Ned Conway who got a hand to it and then lays a big tackle as well right on the boundary line. D-Lar still moving it forward. It's a kick towards full forward. Healy's got about 3 to deal with. Went through his hands, but he was held. So Luke Healy was held by Paul. within the goal square, and Luke will go back and surely put this one through from 8 metres out, point blank range just about. No issues for the number 19. 5-10-40 now, D-Lar. Old Haileybury 9-10-64. So still within a 4-goal margin. It has been a poor quarter for Nick Highland's squad, Hugo Higginbotham, but the game is not away from them. That's the important part.
No, it's certainly not. It certainly isn't. I mean, the first half of that quarter, they weren't very competitive at all, realistically. I mean, have a player kick 4, they couldn't shut him down, but they lifted their intensity. Look, obviously really, really missing Nick Buffalo in the middle of the ground, as we said, but, you'd like to see him win this clearance as well. They want to finish this quarter off. This has gone long, this quarter, as well.
It's going to be a long one.
The OT.
So back in the middle once again. Stanton got the tap forward. It looked like it was held before he caught it. But
free kick.
The umpire's paid a free kick for high instead. So Haileybury has it in the centre of the ground. Called to go now by the umpire on the right boot. Fans a kick out wide to Bohan, who had to wait for it. Judd used the body well. He's done that a number of times today, the big fella. And he's taken the mark. He's probably a bit too far out to score, so he's going to have to set this one up on the left boot. He does. He looks for both Haileybury, but none of them took the mark. Houghton goes with a kick out towards the centre of the ground. Day had it, lost it. Sinclair gets away from his man in the centre of the ground, drives inside, attacking 50. They've got space out the back here, and the mark's been taken uncontested inside 50, and they'll get a good look at goals here. Another red time goal coming up if the conversion is true here for Old Haileybury. And I'll tell you who it is the second the bloke turns around. It's one of the 3 Seckles. Brady this time.
You can have a punt and you've got a 33% chance of getting it right. He's got the bright yellow boots on, Brady. Doesn't usually kick too many goals from the midfield slot. I like that they've tried to isolate him inside 50. Give him a bit of a different role.
So 4 goals in 4 games this season for Brady Seckle. Hasn't found the target today. A relatively straightforward kick, 25 metres out, straight in front, and he puts it through.
There you go.
That's another red time goal, and Old Haileybury just keep at arm's length from away from Salle once again. And talk about timing. There is the siren for 3-quarter time. And it makes the margins. We turn for home an even 5 goals. At 3-quarter time, it's Old Haileybury 10-10-70, D-Lar 5-10-40 on the scoreboard that turn for Better Pack.
Thank you very much for that, Matt Donald. Jeez, it's been the Bloods who have just flexed their muscle in that 3rd quarter. We'll have a break, and on the other side of this, our Hub Report, all thanks to Hilton Manufacturing, will be inside Daniel Ward's meeting with the players after Old Haileybury skip away here in South Caulfield. They lead it by 5 goals.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risks of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
10-10-70 Old Haileybury, the reigning Premier B premiers. De La Salle, the runners-up of last year in Premier B, 5-10-40. It's an even 5-goal game here in South Caulfield after a 6-2 Bloods quarter has put a gap between these two squads. Around the grounds, thanks to Crabtree's real estate, it's St Kevin's 11-5-71 over the University Blues 9-3-57, so a 14-point advantage to the Scobbers. Collegians 8-7-55 lead the Blacks 5-8-38. They lead by 17 points. We'll get the rest of these scores on the other side of Daniel Ward's three-quarter time huddle.
All our scores are coming from our heat. Rosie's tackle, holding the ball here, hits break, gets it out the far side to Noz inside the Jonesy goal. All right, that's got to come from that side. All right, so Dog, I want you to stay with him. Right, if you need a spell, you've got James up your sleeve. Do well, James. All right, so same thing, be ready to go. All right, energy around our forward line was a lot better, boys. Get up, get back, create a contest. Don't get out marked. Really good. Bring it to ground. Still over handballing a little bit. That last one, shoulders are out. Let's get it in. All right. Bring him, boys. Let's go. Let's go, lads. Come on, one more. So,
thanks to Daniel Ward for allowing us access. We'll have a conversation with the coach of the Bloods, all thanks to Sarah Burt on the boundary, in just a few moments' time. The rest of those scores for Crabtree's Real Estate. Olds of Arians 8-9-57, leading by 14 points over St Bernard's, who are 6-7-43 over at Brighton Beach Oval. It's the Tunners 5 goals, 22 behinds, 52. You don't see that scoreline too often. They lead the Cards, Old Scotch, 3-6-24. So the Tunners with a 28-point lead and more behinds, Hugo Higginbotham, than you could shake a stick at in that game.
Yes, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I saw a player one day, he won 7 in a quarter and then wasn't even allowed to come to the huddle at quarter time. So there wouldn't be many guys at the huddle at Old Brighton, maybe single out.
You would have sacked them all in your Wickers days.
Oh,
Matthew Donald, you've enjoyed this game so far. Have you seen a scoreline like that? 5 goals, 22 behinds?
Not for a long time, and certainly not at this level. I mean, you say it's a 28-point lead, almost literally is.
Yes.
5 goals to 3, and yeah, I mean that. Well, I mean they've got a sizable lead. They really should hold on and win that one, Old Brighton. But it's a big missed opportunity in terms of building percentage. And I know we're not really thinking about that at this point of the year, but later in the year it will come in handy and they'll be focusing on it then.
Sarah Burt's got Daniel Ward, the coach of the Bloods, beside her.
I do have Daniel Ward. Dan, pretty passionate speech you gave just then. I noticed on the sidelines you looked a little bit frustrated at times, which seemed odd to me because you guys are very in control of the game.
Yeah, no, it's been a frustrating day. Full credit to D-Lar about how they've put pressure on us. I just think we're being fumbly at times, and yeah, it's a day where you don't necessarily like as a coach, but hopefully we get the right result in the end.
You asked at half-time to clean up their ball usage and slow things down a bit. Do you think they've done that?
Yeah, I think we're a lot better at that. Again, credit to D-Lar and the pressure that they've put on us, but I'm hoping we can still be a lot cleaner in the last quarter and put the score on the board.
Davis came off and went into the rooms, got his head strapped up. What happened there?
I think he just got a cut, so he's got a big role for us. Jake Williams, number 2, has been really good for them. So Max is going to have a role with him in the last quarter, so he's a crucial player for us.
Thanks, Dan. Good luck for the final quarter.
Thanks to Sarah Burt and Daniel Ward there for Hilton Manufacturing. Hilton services the needs of clients across a range of industries, including transportation, defence, civil, commercial, agricultural and healthcare. The story there, Hugo and Matthew. Max Sievers has the job on the 2-time Woodrow medalist Jacob Williams.
Tough job. He's been very good today. Been a shining light for D-Lar.
So it's a even 5-goal game. 70 plays 40. 6 goals to 2 in that quarter for the Bloods has put them in the driver's seat, but we've seen that D-Lar, they're plucky. They will not give up all day. Let's just see if they can make another go at taking the lead in this game, in this final quarter. Ahead of us now. Let's see what they can do. This is the VAFA SEN Match of the Day. Matthew Donald with the bounce for Icon Print Solutions.
Bell wins the tap down. Amendola was coming off the back of the square. Got the hand pass forward, although it's been turned over. Rose again. And now once more Docking. Gets it across Noziara with a kick inside. Attacking 50 to Harrop, who marks way out in front of his opponent, and he'll go back in line up for goal here. He'll be kicking on a pretty tight angle, about 45 metres out, but he's backing himself. If D-Lar had to secure their first win of the season tonight, it's going to be one memorable victory. But this is just going to make things a little more difficult for them if Harrop can put this one through.
almost identical, Matthew, to the spot where he drilled his first of the day from at left half forward.
Well, we'll see if he remembers that kick. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Paddy, I don't. Harrop comes in just inside 50. It's going to be pushed across the face of goal. No mark taken. Jones taps it back towards the goal line, but it's been escorted over the line for a rush behind. And it's brought back in, and Lingberg takes the... Is he trying to play on there? I don't know. Paddy, help me out here.
Yeah, he's in the left back pocket. Wasn't quite sure what to do with himself, and then thought better of moving around on the mark and looking unsure, and just kicked it to Dean Johns instead. So Tom Dean Johns wants the switch, and O'Meara's waiting for it at the top of the defensive goal square. He's the last player in the line. Now Fisher. Still inside the arc of defensive 50. He pushes it outside. It's not a great kick. It's been picked off here by the Bloods. And Errant Hamel, though, entering 50, gave it away. Day tapped it into the bootlaces of Stephanakis. Dean Johns now with it. Stephanakis with him. He lost control of the footy. The umpire might have paid a throw, and indeed does ping Dean Johns.
Look at Stephanakis running to get the ball.
He was desperate.
I'm the first man here.
He did lay the tackle in truth, Dre, but he's never shy, in my experience, at grabbing himself a set shot at goal, especially when he's got 4 on the day, which is his season high in the Ammos.
Should have had 5 already.
Yeah, he had an interesting moment, if you're joining us for the first time, in the first half, where he marked the ball 6 metres out directly in front, thought he'd play on, and ended up being shoved through for a rush behind. Not his finest moment. So he responded by kicking 4 goals in a row to start the third quarter.
It's the best way to respond.
So Stephanakis, best on ground, of course, in the under-19s VAFA showcase last year for Team South, where he kicked 4. He's looking for his 5th of the half today. And for a 37-point Old Haileybury lead, that kick is fanned out to the right-hand side and through for a behind. 10-12-72 the Bloods, 5-10-40 D-Lar. We've gone 2.5 minutes in the final terminal, thanks to Icon Print Solutions.
Got a question for you, Hugo. I'll ask you at the next stoppage. As the ball's brought back into play here, looking for Cameron, who has got it on the second attempt at half-back. Slow build up here again from D-Lar, and Cameron's going to go down the line. A couple of players prepared to fly. No one took the mark. Williams somehow got out of there. Got a hand pass away too. And Indovino there. He's caught by Sievers. It's gone now. He got away from him once, but not the second time. And the Mummy Sievers has got it.
Big strapping around the eyebrow.
Look at that. He runs up the mark and kicks towards centre half forward straight away. No mark taken, although Harrop got the hand pass out to Sinclair. He tries to fan one out wide. Stanton was there, comes back to Harrop. He's caught, got the hand pass away again. And then Filipovic applies a tackle. And Hugo, I'll ask you, can you win a best on ground medal in 15 minutes? Because Stephanakis hasn't had a huge impact outside of the first half of that third term, but that's the passage that ultimately broke the game open.
Absolutely, you can. I mean, everyone remembers goals, and if you kick 4 in the space of 5 minutes or whatever it was, in for a big chance.
Damashki took the advantage after Amendola brought down Rose and won himself a free kick. And there's a limping Blood out there on the far side of the ground.
Hugo Lynch.
He's looking a bit proppy on the ankle. Damashki now true centre half forward. He's 1.5 kicks from goal. Puts it into the pocket, looking for Indovino, or failing that. A big leaper from behind. Williams has gone to the square and has a chance here, Hugo, at his third, Jake Williams. We know that Max Sievers has the job on him, so he's putting himself into the game in the front half. It's Hugo Lynch, actually, as he limps towards us. Looks in a fair bit of bother, maybe on that right ankle. Well, it might actually be Mateus Rose who it is.
Lynch is fine now, but that's Rose who's gone to the bench.
So Lynch saw and then Rose as well. So plenty of work for Sarah Burt to do on the boundary. Meanwhile, we're with Jake Williams. 48 metres out. The left footer has got it. So he's got 3. He's done just about everything, Jake Williams. 6-10-46 D-Lar. 10-12-72 Old Haileybury. And there's still a chance, Hugo, as we mentioned at three-quarter time. Because they did get those 2 third-quarter goals while they were having a bit of a lapse, they're not out of this game. So a quick spurt, and they could be really up to their eyeballs in this contest.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, goals come quick in this game. You 3 in 3 minutes, all that sort of stuff. But this will be telling here because they have struggled in the midfield. They lost that first clearance, resulted in that first goal. And at the start of this quarter, they need to get on top in the middle of the ground.
Well, their wish would have been the first goal of the last term, D-Lar Salle, and they've got it. Now can they build on it? The ball's back in the middle again. It's slowly eking its way towards Old Haileybury's goal, and they'll win the clearance here with a kick towards half forward. Going back with a float is Dean Johns again, who's been terrific in defence today for D-Lar. He takes another intercept mark at centre half back and drives a long kick out wide. It's not to the advantage of Damashki, although they've got the Well, they almost had the numbers. Filipovic was beaten to it by Conway, who's got it now, goes back out wide. Hand pass is no good for Connell, who's got to go and give it back to Conway. He does. A hand pass over the top is effective, although it's a good strong tackle there that's been applied by D-La, and we'll get a stoppage centre wing, far side of the ground here. 6 minutes gone in this final term for Icon Print Solutions. It's still Old Haileybury with the advantage, but D-La have got the only goal of this final term, and they'll go forward again. Indovino's caught immediately, not getting out of that one, and we'll get another stoppage at half forward for the visitors this time.
So territory, the focus here for D-La. Williams around this contest has 3. He's got some class, Jakey. You wouldn't put him out of mind for 4. It's a kick towards Noah Higgins. It was across the face of goal. It was a bit dangerous, but it worked. Noah puts it out towards us. Broadcast wing. That's a nice kick. They're leaking forward at some pace. Vaughan takes the mark on his chest. Looks inside laterally. Good kick. It just got through to Houghton. Giampa on him. Houghton, the entry kick. There's a man in an absolute mile of space. The kick hung in the air for a little bit too long. Giampa now with the footy for D-La. Moved it away to Dean Johns. He wants Williams on the broadcast wing. Finds him a step ahead of Paul. Williams faces the game. Buffalo leaking forward for him. The movement dries up. Now Jake Williams unsure of where to go next. Drives it deep inside 50. Indovino holding space in the pocket. It was spoiled away from him. Bell takes it out of play. So 26 points the margin. Old Haileybury ahead. 6 goals to 2 in that third turn. D-La through Jake Williams have the first of the last. We've played 7 minutes of this final term, all thanks to Icon Print Solutions as this ball is thrown back into play. Came the way of Filipovic, that was Seb. He was tackled off his kick. Ball still loose. Comes the way of Amendola, who snaps on goal. It's skinny, misses to the left-hand side. 6-11-47 now D-La. 10-12-72 as we mentioned, Old Haileybury. 25 points the advantage, Hugo Higginbotham.
It is still not. It's 4-1 little kick as well, but front half footy is what D-La want. They've got to get the intercept here on this one.
Ciara with the kick in. Eventually. Still assessing his options. And he's going to go short to Conway, who marks. Still deep in defence for Old Haileybury. All of a sudden on the back foot a little bit in this final term, despite their lead. Conway goes high up towards the wing. Good mark coming in from the side there by Seckle. One of them anyway. And he continues to play on. Higgins has it now. Or in fact, my apologies, it's Docking. Docking on the right boot, goes inside, attacking 50. Coming over the top of the spoil there with Dean Johns to Fisher, who runs out of room. And it goes out of play for a boundary throw-in.
I just saw Stefanakis lurking at the back there. He was lurking. I was waiting for something, looking around the front. He's putting bumper bars on everyone. He wants one.
Bit of Jake Stringer with that buzz cut and the power in the forward line there from Stefanakis. Ball tossed back into play. Bohan had a fresh area, missed it completely. There's Buffalo again. And it's going to be tossed up once more. In fact, no, that was Carvallis rather. Tap down. There is Stefanakis. Gives it over to Houghton. Tucked up against the boundary line. Tries to hook it back into the field of play. Oh, it bounces off the chest there of Fisher. I would have expected him to gobble that one up. Instead, it's down to play and a boundary throw-in right in the forward pocket for the Old Haileybury.
I was thinking more of a Patrick Voss kind of vibe for Andreas Stefanakis. Maybe not with the height, but certainly with the way he walks around with his chest puffed out.
And the shading of the feathers as well. Very similar in that.
He's lurking around this contest. Houghton, it slipped through his fingers. Bowen's just going to tumble it out for D-La. It might be coming back though. Darius Seckle chops it off. Wants to go the full width of the half-forward line. Harrop's done so well. Marks strongly on the arc. Had company in Dean Johns, who's been just about impassable across half back at times. But Harrop now 55 metres out. We're going to be right behind this one.
Certainly is.
Charlie reckons he's got the distance. He's shown us today that he has got the leg. This from the right forward pocket. From 52 metres out. Harrop just instead darts it into the pocket even deeper. He had intentions perhaps for Higgins or Sinclair rather. The ball went out of bounds on the full before it hit him on the chest. So a good idea, poorly executed by Charlie.
Yes, a lot of good ideas and poorly executed, but that's up there.
The ball's coming back towards us. Stanton too deep, big fly, got two hands to it, couldn't bring it down. D-La want the boundary and get it through Miller. So a throw in right in front of Nick Highland and the D-La bench between wing and half forward for the Bloods.
So 25-point advantage still to the hosts. We've ticked over 10.5 minutes in this final term for Icon Print Solutions. And the ball's now between wing and half forward for the hosts. Just back into the field of play. Miller applying the tackle there on Sinclair. And the umpire will call for it once more. But Bohan got the tap down, tried to tap it into his grasp there. Wasn't able to do so. Now he tries to wrestle with the ball with Gasparini. Nociara sidesteps a couple of men and kicks it inside 50. Going back with a flight. Harrop couldn't take the mark. And now it's with D-Lara in the back pocket. A high kick out of there. Won't clear the defensive area. And Nociara just thumps it over the boundary line. So we'll get another stoppage inside attacking 50 for the hosts.
So they're playing close to the boundary, Hugo. It does feel like Old Haileybury just reducing the opportunity for D-Lar to set up and to try and transfer the ball quickly, which is what they're going to need to do to try and win this game.
Oh, absolutely. But also, too, this is Haileybury's forward half of the ground as well.
Harrop with the tackle on Bohan, and now Doherty dives in on it. And we'll get a ball up this time. Still all happening here at half forward for Old Haileybury. Bohan and Vaughan both went for it. Neither got a tap to it. Houghton was there. Here's Stefanakis back to Gasparini on the right boot. Hooks it back in towards a central location. And there was Gunnar Wardner, who had hands to it, couldn't take the mark. The hand pass comes back out to centre half forward. Nociara was there. He was caught, dispossessed. The umpire waved play on. And then it was Seckel again, who was taken in a strong tackle. And the umpire says, give it to me. This is going to be tossed up between centre and centre half forward this time for Old Haileybury.
So 12-minute mark at the final term for Icon Print Solutions. It's Old Haileybury by 25.72, playing 47. So the Bloods with the whip hand as it stands right now. Fraser Cameron's trying to do something about that for D-Lar. His kick for Ida wasn't too much chop. Durris Seckel tracks it down. The handball over the head was pretty indiscriminate. Damashki picks it up, but Seckel, who was taken down after the fact, will get a free kick as Damashki was charging downhill. Forced to throw it back to Big Durris. Team of the Year member last year, can play at either end, playing defensively today. Finds Ollie Houghton, who it's a treat to see him at VAFA level, was expecting to see him a lot in the VFL this year. He's docking another VFL list to play for this one for Sandringham and finds Gunnar Wardner, 55 metres out, kick it to the pocket, it skips though. They got it all the way up the ground and then couldn't quite find the kick inside 50, and we'll get a holding the ball free kick though, going the way of the Bloods. That ball was locked beneath the pack. And the umpire picking out a free kick going the way of Lockie Vaughan. Lingberg the last to get up for D-Lar, so assuming he must have dived on it, Hugo, or dragged it back in.
It would appear so. The umpire's vision was a pretty tough call, that one, but you get that in football sometimes. But they're just doing enough, Haileybury, just to keep D-Lar at arm's reach.
So Vaughan, this would be for 11 and a 31-point advantage. He'll have to kick it 35 metres, toughish angle from left half forward. Hasn't troubled the scorers today, has 4 goals on the season. 3 in round 1 against Collegians. This one just about won't trouble the scorers. It fades right across the front. Harrop might have dragged that in. The umpire pays him the mark. So he juggled it right on the boundary line, Charlie, as that kick fanned across to the right forward pocket. And he's stuck with the play and eventually has held on to it. This will be tricky though. He's tucked in just about behind the behind post. So he'll have to step around on his left.
Not sure that's possible, is it, Pat?
You wouldn't have thought so. He is a right footer, so he has the right foot banana on his preferred or the left foot snap on his non-preferred. He's opted for the non-preferred. Steps around and doesn't get enough bend. He misses to the far side. Old Haileybury moving to 10-13-73. D-Lar 6-11-47. Approaching 15 minutes gone in the final term, all thanks to Icon Print Solutions.
Day spears a pass back into Amendola, but it's been turned over. Snap towards goal from Jones. It falls short. Fisher takes the mark off the Day. Howley exit the defensive 50. This time tries another spearing pass. That one's even worse. Straight onto the chest of Houghton, who chips it back inside 50. Going back, trying to take the mark. There was Seckel, not paid. The ump's been played on. Will turn over, and then Bell gathers it on the bounce of the wing. Sidestep as well. Not bad for the big fella. And then the hand pass across. Kicking out towards Vaughan, who had to deal with Day. And Day has tried hard to find the boundary line. Couldn't. It's still going forward here for Old Haileybury. And a snap at goal's a ripper. Trying to pick up who that was who snapped it through. It's an excellent finish. It might be the game-sealing moment, that 11-13-79. The Bloods, Old Haileybury, And 6:11:47, D-La Salle. Still can't pick up who that was, Jens. That was a terrific finish, though.
He absolutely will not turn around that player. We can't get a look at the number, but probably disappointing defensive effort there from D-La, and those transition kicks just, you know, if you're going to try those inside 45, and, you know, I love them, Matty, they're my go-to, but you have to hit those targets. And they were missing dramatically. Absolutely dramatically. He won't turn around for you, Matty.
No, he just refuses. He's got some issue with me, I think.
Anyway, Big Bell back up in the ruck again.
We'll find out in a minute. Cameron wraps up Bloods midfielder. It's spread wide to Higgins. He goes deep to a one-on-one. Fisher did well for D-La. Punched it away. Goodawardena now at ground level with Day for company. Day takes him out.
Vaughan.
Lockie Vaughan with two.
And I tell you what, the separation or lack of on those pair of ones on his jumper is a sight of a hole. Yeah, about as close as they can get before we start to earn the number one.
You weren't letting that one go, were you, Matty? That wasn't going in the rush column. You would have sat here all day. You would have sat in there all day.
So held back in. Brady Seckle just wades through the contest, goes inside 50. Vaughan again! Second attempt, couldn't bring it down. Fisher did well. May have caught Goodawardena high. The umpire didn't see it. So it'll be thrown back to the man in green. Cody getting up a little bit worse for wear. Was asking the ump where his free kick was.
He's asking where his forward is. He's gone.
Nothing forthcoming. Vaughan back in the ruck. Seckle's going to charge through again. Gave it to Goodawardena. This time he's held on to again. The umpire calls play on. He can't take a trick, can Cody. And D-La will recover momentarily, although that exiting kick's cut off by Durris Seckle.
That's 3 from 3 exiting kicks that have been cut off.
And Durris inside 50. Well, that kick went to pretty much no one. Taken by Lingberg. We're just playing kick to kick at the moment.
That's 4.
Hugo Lynch chops this one off and then dices it forward, looking for the leap of Matthias Rose. He couldn't bring the ball down. D-La bring it away. The kick was intended for Damashki, who had to play spoiler. Did a reasonable job opposed to Rainer Seckle. And now D-La will move the ball through the outside. Ethan Bowden with the running bounce. Far wing. Now puts it inside 50. Indovino with 2 to beat. Outbodied by Connell earlier in the piece. And now the Bloods, who have effectively taken a fair bit of sting out of this contest, will switch it across the defensive goal square, Matthew.
They do. And now Nociara's got it. We saw Matthias Rose come back on the ground as well, just in that previous contest, which is good to see. And another kick out wide here. It's just getting a bit untied in the last few minutes from both sides. Kicks missing their target, and that one goes out of play, and we'll get a boundary throw in. Right in front of the Bloods interchange gates here. We'll have a 32-point lead. As we go tick over 18 minutes here in this final term. Ball toss back in here. Bell fell. Then old Haileybury win the clearance. High kick up towards half forward. No one wanted to contest the mark. O'Meara goes to ground, and he was taken high according to the umpire, so he'll take the free kick at half back. And he looks to get the hand pass away. They've got some numbers here, D-La. Cameron, kick into the middle of the ground, works. And then the hand pass goes to Amendola, who's got to gather it on the bounce. He goes out wide. There's Gamper again, who gets around his man, drives a deep kick inside, attacking 50. It's going to go to Williams in the pocket. Oh, who had all the time in the world to mark it. It's bounced off his chest. It's gone out of play, and it's a boundary throw in.
Hugo, I'm going to need a trundle wheel because I reckon that kick from Antonio Giampa's travelled about 65 metres.
Every bit of it. Every bit of it. And that was off about 2 steps as well.
We need the Fox Footy Lab to measure that one for us.
We do. It'll be thrown in, right forward pocket. Bell reached over the top, got it away. Houghton stepped Damashki and then went off to the races. Had a teammate in Higgins to handball too. Higgins puts it down this far side wing. Vaughan leapt by Dean Johns, who had the best of him in that contest. D-La move it back towards right half forward. It's taken away though again by the Bloods. This is Conway. Hits Goodawardena, just attacking side of the wing. Again, far side of the ground. Bathed in dying sunshine here in South Caulfield. Wants Sinclair on a long lead. Fisher a step behind him. It's Sinclair who marks. Turns quickly. Stefanakis wants it on his head.
Absolutely.
Here comes the kick. Stefanakis in a one-on-one with Miller. And they got to him before the ball did, so it'll be fisted through for a rush behind. No luck for Dre. It's another point for Haileybury. 11-14-80. They lead D-La 6-11-47, Matthew Donald. And a quick score update, the close game across the competition. It's Collegians by 21 points over the University Blacks at Melbourne Uni. More scores in a moment. Matthew, as D-La work it out through the back pocket.
Gamber and Fisher just playing with themselves at the moment. They changed the footy about 4 times. In the end, it comes out to Amendola at halfback. The hand pass heading over the top to Carvalhas. and another one over the top to Bowden, who runs up the wing and then drives it long towards half forward. Damashki went over his head, and Sievers gathers it. Well, it's a high, loopy hand pass. I think it slipped out of his grasp there. Bell tries to take on the world. The ruckman overthought it, and he's gone. Miller with the free kick. That was his problem there, Belly. Thought about it too much, and he's gone holding the ball.
Didn't think Ruckman did that.
Miller on a standing start, drives it into the pocket, coming out of the lead. That is a good mark. Healy's finally clubbed one, but he'll go back and he'll line up. He's not wasting any time here, Luke Healy.
I'll approach already, Matthew.
Well, what's going on here?
He's actually gone that quick. The umpire's held him up.
The umpire's even started counting to 30.
There's a couple bloods down actually on the mark, which is why the play's been stopped. Okay. Might be Rainer Seckel again.
And I think Higgins is
down
as
Noah
well.
Higgins, yeah. So Noah Higgins, bent double, still on his knees, hasn't got up. So it's been a pretty busy medical room today for Old Haileybury. There's plenty to chat to Daniel Ward about in our post-match.
Actually, both medical teams have been busy today. It's been more like a hospital ward than an interchange bench.
While the trainers do get to know, let's have a think about our Skins player of the day, gentlemen. Andreas Stefanakis, 4 goals in the first 15 minutes of the third quarter. Would you give it to him?
It was a game-breaking moment, really. It's been pretty tight aside from that.
Yeah,
it has.
But that was where the match was won. So if we're looking at a match-winning performance, that'd be it for me.
Looks like it might be Andreas Stefanakis going home with a pair of Skins compression tights.
I'll just throw up Williams for Delar. He's played a lone hand there. Yeah. He's kept them in the game as well. Bit of a 4-quarter performance. Let's just see how the rest of the quarter plays out.
Yeah, he's a clubhouse leader, I'd say. Dre, as Noah Higgins makes his way off, he looks to be okay as far as favouring a side goes, but just looks to be maybe holding a rib or a hip, Noah. So it's a shame to see him sore. Just back into the squad after concussion.
He wanted to go straight to the bench there, but Ward is making him go through the gates. He said, I might still need you, son. You're kicking it back out there.
Jogging under his own power, which is good news, Matthew.
It is. He looked like he wasn't moving that right arm initially, but once he broke out into a jog, it was moving a bit more. So hopefully everything's okay there. Healy, in the meantime, comes in, deserves a goal, Luke Healy. He's competed well in the air today, and now he's got a major. So they fought out this final term well here, D. Larsell. They moved to 7-11-53. Still 27 points in arrears, 11-14-80. Here's Old Haileybury score. That last term scoreboard brought to us by Icon Print Solutions.
He's an encouraging type, Luke Healy, Hugo. He can play either end of the ground. He was the hand of God player in last year's prelim. He put the hand on the footy that rushed to behind for Old Trinity that ultimately helped get D-Lar through to top flight, but I really like him as a forward.
Yes, he's been dangerous up there. He's been threatening, I suppose you'd say, but just hasn't quite converted a few.
Built sort of solidly, and he's got strong hands. Here's Gasparini from the restart. He got the rove and then tumbled a really high kick to Harrop, who's going to have to play behind O'Meara. Houghton at ground level. Day's got him high. The umpire instead calling for a ball up.
He won't win best on ground. I want to give an honourable mention to Dean Johns as well. He's taken a number of intercept marks across half back. He's done really well all day.
Bowen wins the ruck tap. He's only Bloods numbers behind this footy. It took a pretty cruel bounce though. So D-Lar through. Seb Filipovic will move it now. Giampa, the 17-year-old, takes a running bounce and just took them all on. The exuberance of youth. Back to Seb Filipovic. Brady Seckel, he just picked his pocket, took the footy away. Miller of D-Lar. A handball in the direction of Tom Filipovic. Connor with him. Ball out of play. Neutral territory. Broadcast wing. There's plenty of excitement watching Antonio Giampa run after the footy. Hopefully we get to do that for about 20 years, Hugo Higginbotham.
Yeah, unless he's playing at a little bit of a higher level. So I think he'll be getting a little bit of an eye on him every now and then.
The Bloods by 27 points. Amendola slung to the ground. The umpire paying a free kick, and Amendola
dangerous tackle.
Is pretty slow in moving up as well. He's now on his haunches, bent double, and there's some conversations being had with Ollie Houghton, who was the tackler. Amendola back to his feet now. Doesn't quite look right, though. Kicks it backwards. He might be brought off the ground, you'd think.
What's going on? There might be a downfield free,
something else has gone on here. So there's a knock behind the play. The umpire's grabbed the footy.
There was a D-Lar player who was down for a moment. I think it was might have been Williams. He got up to his feet quick enough.
Houghton might be in trouble here. So the umpire, is speaking with Houghton. His hands are going to his back pocket, and he's sending Ollie Houghton to the bench.
Let's just have a look and see what card we're looking at here.
So Ollie Houghton in trouble with the officiators. So it's a red card, is it?
Yeah, that was definitely red.
So Ollie Houghton's done. His day is over, if that is a red card.
And he's got the...
he's in the book as well, Ollie Houghton. Daniel Ward walking over to talk to the numbers 27 of the Bloods, who is making his way off the ground looking rather disgruntled. That's his day done. So late push. It was initially the tackle on Amendola and then something off the footy which we missed. That is seen Houghton.
Was it the tackle, though?
It could have been the tackle. It was dangerous in nature.
And there was a bit after this, but if the umpire's reached for his book, that might not be the end of it for Ollie Houghton either.
No, 27 points now the margin. Old Haileybury in the lead. Amendola puts it inside 50. The numbers here with the Bloods. It's a big fist. It will go out of play in the left forward pocket for the blue and yellow. Amendola coming off the ground as well. Matthew and Hugo.
Here's an interesting thing for you. Amendola actually coached Giampa last year. Now they're playing together.
There you go.
That's a great story.
The universe works in mysterious ways sometimes.
Yeah, and Amendola doesn't look right, does he?
No, he's going to the bench. He came off on his own accord, but no, he's getting looked at straight away as the ball's tossed back into the field of play here. Stefanakis has moved into defence, gives the hand pass off to Gasparini on a standing start. Comes out here, Bohan in good position here, and on the second attempt, dropped the mark. He goes and applies the tackle. It's out of play and a boundary throw in, centre wing.
Let's head around the grounds for Crabtree's real estate. It's Old Brighton clear by 43 points of Old Scotch. Old Zaverians by 21 of St Bernard's on the road. St Kevin's by 21 points also of the University Blues. That's at the TH King. It's Collegians by 28 at the moment over the University Blacks. Matthew?
Thank you for that, Paddy. Still on behind watch for Old Brighton this afternoon as it's tossed back into the field of play.
8:26.
Miller was there, my goodness. And then Giampi with a kick inside, attacking 50. Outnumbered there was Healy. And then applying the tackle where was Stanton. We'll get another 8:26.
Yeah, that's an effort.
Boy, that's very impressive, actually. It's boring and impressive now.
Hugo, I'll be after your Skins Player of the Day after this stoppage, my friend. So you're in the gun, under the pump.
In the gun. Oh, jeez.
Williams on top of that, and that stoppage is coming up right now, Hugo. So there's plenty of thinking.
I was going to say, a bit of thinking time. Well, I'm going to throw a couple up there. Giampa's been big today, the kid. He's been big. I'm going to throw him up there. Williams as well. But it's got to be Stefanakis, the match-winning performance there. And I've never seen a big... Oh, hang on.
Comes out to your boy Giampi. He kicks it towards the square, and there's a free kick, and it's going to go to De La Salle. I'll tell you what, Segal's incensed at the decision. Not
so is Daniel
all.
Ward, both hands behind the head, marching up and down the boundary line.
And Healy's not wasting any time. He's going to kick... Oh, is that his third, I think, for today, Luke Healy?
That is 3 for Luke Healy.
He's got 2 in this quarter.
The last 2 goals of the game as well.
Yep, so the only 2 of the 3 goals in this final term as well. So they continue to tick the scoreboard over here to De La Salle. 8-11-59, 11-14-80 Old Haileybury. So back to 21 points. Still unlikely, but not impossible.
I'll tell you where it's important though, Matthew and Hugo, is for percentage at the end of the year, especially as far as Old Haileybury is concerned. We know the battle for top 4 spots is so tight every year. And if Haileybury want to mix it with the big 4, they're going to need to try and run up the score a few times when they get the opportunity to. They haven't today. Fraser Cameron in the middle of the ground, evaded a couple, then slipped over. So his handball wasn't much chop by result. So it's the Bloods with a backwards handball to get control of the footy. There's Ned Conway. Moved it backwards. It looked like Harrop a long way up the ground, and a nice kick. Here's Gunnar Wardner, who's been impressive after 3 goals last week. Just has the 1 today. Puts it back inside to Gasparini. Approaching 29 minutes gone in the final term. Now inside 50. Day and Doherty will work it out for Delar. Lingberg, not a great exiting kick. Damashki, it was intended for him. He was a long way behind the footy. Here's Conway. Turns to the outside on that right peg. Goes across the face of goal. Delar with the numbers. Be picked off by Fraser Cameron. Hugo, who's had a good day.
He's been very good, Fraser Cameron. They've had a lot of a look at it down there, the Delar defenders.
Long towards Williams, has got to contend with a couple. The umpire wave play on, no free kick there. There are appeals for them. And Old Haileybury are going to work it back inside 50 here. Tumbling ball. Fisher had front spot and took the mark and wants to go straight away with a kick into the middle of the ground. Nociara going back with a flight.
Brave.
Strong mark. Brave is right, Paddy. A lot of courage required there. Didn't cop a hit in the end, but he wasn't aware. And then he gets around his man. He straightens on the left boot in the end, and he's got the man at half forward. Mark taken here by Sinclair, and he might decide to go back and have a shot.
So that kick from Hugo Nociara is exactly why Daniel Ward wants him behind the footy. He's a beautiful user. He had to sort of make it up on the fly on that occasion and then hit Sinclair in stride.
So Sinclair's hooked his kick. It's going to go across the face. Bit of wrestling going on there in the goal square. Bowden gathers it, spins out of trouble, kicks it out towards the back flank. Again, Williams having to contend with 3 this time. Brings it to ground. Gasparini's hand pass over the top. And then tackled over the boundary line was Black. And it will be a boundary throw-in.
Yes, he's a very composed player. Hugo's on the RE. He absolutely read that perfectly. Beautiful execution and a great name.
For Icon Print Solutions, now into the 30-minute mark of this final term.
It's been a long quarter because there's been a few stoppages in this last term.
Icon Print Solutions, they've brought together the best minds in the industry to provide expert advice in business-to-business managed print services for A3, A4, wide format, 3D printing and document software solutions. Be thrown back in. Bowen wins it down to the front of the contest. Cameron lays a nice tackle. Doherty's around the place too. Harrop, he just tried to kick it back over his own head. Got it about 12 metres forward and 50 metres upward. It goes towards Day. He's in his own defensive 50 at right half back. That's a nice kick to Bowden, who is maybe just outside the field of play though. So out of bounds on the full. Free kick going to Old Haileybury. And it's that man Harrop, who at 55 metres out isn't without a chance. He's not going to try and have a shot at goal. That is a beautiful kick inside 50. Docking worked his way into space in the left forward pocket. Harrop hit him right on the chest. So now Josh will likely, you'd think, just about go round the corner, tight angle, 35 metres out from goal. And this would be, gentlemen, to re-establish a 27-point lead. Old Haileybury currently 11-14-80. D-Lar 8-11-59. We'll go around the grounds thanks to Crabtree's real estate in just a moment. But now we're with Josh Docking. Yet to kick a goal for the Bloods. He arrived at the start of this year. He'll have to do it after the siren. This would be for a 27-point win. Josh Docking gets close to the man on the mark. His kick is... We're waiting for the goal umpire. Good! And they'll all get to Josh Docking.
Is that a first goal?
And that's his first goal as a Blood. Crossing over from Hampton. Playing his footy at top flight when he's not playing for Sandringham in the VFL. 12-14-86, the winning score for Old Haileybury. De La Salle 8-11-59. A 27-point victory to the Bloods. They go through 3-2. De La still looking for its first win of 2025 in top flight. We'll have our Skins player of the day, Andreas Stefanakis, with Sarah Burt in just a few moments' time before Sarah does get out to Dre. Hugo Higginbotham, Matthew Donald, your thoughts of today's game?
Look, it probably wasn't the greatest skilled spectacle out there. There was a lot of errors made. Encouraging for D-Lar. They had some really good passages of play. I think it was really important that time. I think they kicked 1-5 in the second quarter. They ended up tallying for the day. There was just no scoreboard pressure. Old Haileybury able to have that big patch in that third quarter. And that was probably the difference for the day as well. And Stefanakis, he really got on top there. And it must be frustrating, absolutely frustrating, because their good's really good. And we've spoken about this a few times. They need to bridge the gap between their good and their not so good.
Paddy will have I think Paddy might have the exact numbers there. So in that 15-minute patch in the third term, Old Haileybury would have kicked 4 goals and maybe a couple of behinds.
Yeah, they moved really quickly. They were 4-6-30 at half-time. By the time Stefanakis had kicked his fourth, they were leading by 56-27. So that's where the game turned.
Yeah, so, I mean, and there's the final margin right
Exactly.
there.
Yep.
So in terms of the gaps where D-Lar are fading out of the match and allowing the opposition to get on top, while it's still happening, the positive for Nick High and these team is that the gaps are getting smaller. So at the start of the season, it was a couple of quarters. Last week, it was 1 quarter. Today, it was a 15-minute patch. So they're improving at being able to stay in the game for longer periods of time. And they'll continue to get better at that as the season progresses. I love the intensity from both teams today. Both teams had their moments where they really put the clamps on the opposition. And in between all of those fumbles and mistakes, there was some really slick ball movement from both sides. Some really nice passages of play at times. So there'll be a bit for both teams to take away, a bit for both teams to work on. But I think from a D-Lar point of view, even though they come away empty-handed again, there are encouraging signs for them going forward.
So the final score for the VAFA William Buck SEN match of the day. We're, of course, live every Saturday afternoon through the amateur season. You can hear us from 1:45pm. It's Old Haileybury 12-14-86. De La Salle 8-11-59. The Bloods led by 3 points at half-time, but then kicked 8 goals to 5 in the second half to really seize control of this game and run away with it. And it was Andreas Stefanakis in the number 20 today for Old Haileybury who was the star. He kicked 4 goals in that third term alone, the first 4 goals of the second half, to pretty much ice the contest. He is our Skins player of the day. He wins himself a pair of cutting-edge compression tights for his trouble, Andreas Stefanakis. And Sarah Burt has joined him by the boundary here in South Caulfield.
I have indeed. Andreas Stefanakis, you're our player of the day. Congratulations, 4 goals. That was a huge, huge day for you.
Thank you very much. It was a good team effort. The boys got it in and we finished well.
First goal for Josh just after the siren. That is just the perfect way to finish a really great day for you guys.
Yeah, he works hard every week. He's a gun, plays VAFA, he's a freak, and it was awesome to see him kick that.
Always good to see a freak out on the field.
Yeah, always.
Now, I can hear the boys. They are very, very buoyed by that. They obviously will start walking over so you can sing the song. You guys are obviously, this win means a lot. I know that you wanted to contest from last year's grand final.
Yeah, we knew they were going to come out hard and try and beat us after the grand final. We know a lot of their boys well, and they know us. It was a good game today. They jumped us really early, and we knew they were going to do that, but we fought hard.
The boys up in the commentary box might have a couple of questions for you.
Andreas, mate, you had a wonderful season last year playing for Box Hill. You started there this year. Do you enjoy coming back to local footy?
Yeah, I love the boys, love the coaches. Yeah, I love it here, Haileybury.
How have you found playing top flight footy this time around? You were in Premier B last year where you were absolutely outstanding. How have you found the jump in standard?
Oh, it's a massive jump from B to A. We spoke about it as a club. The jump is where we want to play and where the club wants to play and everyone wants to be better. And we love A.
Andreas, congratulations on the win in your performance. I've never seen someone try so hard in vain to kick a goal as you did in the second term. You had a lot of goes, couldn't quite manage it. How do you put that to one side at half time and then come out in the third term and perform the way that you did?
I look at it as I had the opportunities. They're going to come and I'll kick them next time.
Exactly right. Dre, now, got to tell me, mate, got to walk me through it. Why did you play on? You had the mark there. What was going on there?
I thought I missed 2 setties, so I'm going to play on and kick this goal, and I did not see Fish coming, and he hunted me down. I couldn't believe it.
He certainly did. But you made up for it, mate. Did you? You enjoyed those goals up there too. It was good to see. I like your passion, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's the 2-time premiership coach for Elston Wick, letting his coach side back out of the bottle again. Hugo Higginbotham. Andreas, congratulations on your performance today. You are our Skins Player of the Day. You've won yourself a pair of cutting-edge Skins compression tights, all thanks to Skins, the masters of compression. Enjoy the win.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Andreas Stefanakis and Sarah Burt on the boundary. Thanks to Andreas for allowing us the conversation. We'll be joined back in the commentary box by Sarah Burt in just a few short moments' time. And Daniel Ward will join us as well as part of our post-match show, all for Mercedes-Benz Berwick, Australia's most awarded Mercedes-Benz retailer. Gentlemen, it's time to go around the grounds. Let's start with our community TV game, the other grand final replay that was on today, or rematch I should say. Old Brighton have won it with a score of 8 goals, 28 behinds, 76. I don't know if we have a Scorigami Twitter account in the Ammos, but I dare say I don't reckon you would have seen
that's a new
that
one.
Score before. That's outstanding. Sam Flockhart kicked a couple for the Tunners in that one. Old Scotch, 4-7-31, going down by 45 points. So a 3-game losing skid for the Cards as things stand. We're on VAFA.com.au. The final quarter still rolling between St Bernard's and Olds Avarians. At the moment, it's the Snow Dogs 8-9-57, well short of the Zavs 12-13-85. So the Zavs, they just keep rolling on this year. 28-point win it would be if those scores were finalised. If we look at the goal kickers, no data out of the Zavs, but 2 each for Huggard and Sibbald for the Snow Dogs. The next game will go to St Kevin's and the University Blues at the TH King. That game just about to finish as well. The live score is 17-10, 112 St Kevin's. 112 plays 70. The University Blues 11-4-70. So at the moment it's a 42-point advantage to the Scrobbers at home. They led it by 21 points at the final stage, but have kicked 5 goals to 2 in the final term to scoot away from the Blues. Paddy Kerr with 5. Sam Barnett with another 4 goals after last week, where at one point he had 4 goals, which was St Kevin's entire score. So he's been a handy recruit for Anthony Plugger Lynch and his men. The final result across the game, across the round of footy rather, the University Blacks at home 5-12-42, falling short to Collegians 10-9-69. So the Collegians rather by 27 points. They held a 17-point lead at half-time after trailing at the first break and then running out winners. The goal kickers, Alexander Lukic, friend of the For Love of the Game podcast, booting 3 goals, continuing his strong season. So not really a close result and not really an unexpected result across top flight. Hugo, Matt and Sarah Burt, where do we want to go to first, Hugo, as far as analysis goes?
Well, I'm just looking at the broader picture there, and I think we're starting to see the ladder define itself a little bit. I think the top 4 is starting to skip away. So interesting. But if you look at that St Kevin's result as well, I mean, you've got your usual suspects there, haven't you? You've got the same guys popping up. And that was probably we can flit around a little bit, but that Collegians one, that was an important one for them.
It's been a strange year for Collegians because they had that massive win over Scotch on Anzac Day where you felt that, okay, they're finally getting their mojo back, and then falling short at home to St Bernard's, that's a bit of a backward step. Then going to Uni Main and beating the University Blacks. The Blacks are very, very hard to beat at home. We saw squads of St Kevin's calibre last year who were stacked at the late point of the year not be able to get it done against the Blacks on their home track. So to get that win, the Lions must be absolutely stoked. Geordie McKenzie, one of the nicest men you will ever meet, would be absolutely stoked with that one. I think it's a quiet week as far as upsets are concerned. You're right, Hugo. We will get to the Author Sport ladder later in the broadcast as some of these live scores finalise themselves. Matthew Donald?
Just a couple of things. Firstly, I'm really curious to see the breakdown of behinds for Old Brighton. Just out of curiosity.
Where they came from?
28, how many were rushed? Secondly, for St Kevin's, they found 4 for Pat Kerr in Sam Barnett. And, while finding that big, strong target up forward is really important for any side, being able to find the second and the third options up there are equally as important. Take the heat away from Kerr because that's where all the attention goes. But if you've got someone else who could kick a bag, they're worth their weight in gold. And Barnett looks to be ticking that box quite nicely for them.
A Premier B wrap coming up as well as Old Haileybury coach Daniel Ward. Before we get to both of those, Sarah Burt, you're back in the commentary box. You've got a jacket on. It's gotten a bit cool.
I am back here. I've actually got hand warmers in the pockets of my jacket, and I'm glad I did because when I walked in here I was like, I should have been wearing sunscreen. It's hot, but now it's freezing. So I'm back in the comfort of the open commentary box.
Open commentary box.
We opened the windows today.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm disappointed in myself because I thought the T-shirt option was the go today. Clearly not.
Yeah.
Everyone seems rugged up. How was the boundary? A bit different to the MCG last night?
It was. Although still a good crowd, and that's why you like doing different leagues, is because this is a really intimate, excited crowd. Everyone here obviously is really engaged and really involved in what's going on, and that's why I love it. So it was a bit different, but also nice to be out in the sunshine. It was obviously at night time last night at the G. But one thing I did want to mention is I feel like when we look at the difference between the coaches today, granted this is my first time doing the VAFA League, today when I spoke to Nick both times, at quarter time and half time, he said, I'm happy, we're doing well, keep doing what you're doing, got to keep up the intensity, but I'm pretty happy with what's happening. And Daniel Ward, even though they were winning at 3/4 time and I said, why are you pacing up and down, like I'm scared to look at you, he was still absolutely putting the pressure on, saying keep up that intensity, this is a frustrating game and I'm not happy, I know what our best is and this is not it. And I do wonder if putting that pressure on really got them over the line.
You're right about pacing up and down the boundary line, Sarah, because at one point when they gave away I think an easy turnover, he had both hands back of the head, he was doubled over.
I was standing behind him and I was like, I'm just going to take a couple of steps back.
He's a nervous
You've
man.
been given a proper test first up here because both teams were dealing with injuries throughout the course of the day. And I've got to say, you've acquitted yourself quite nicely. So I think we found a good boundary rider.
Very busy. Let's go through, before we get to Daniel Ward, who's only a few moments away, let's tick off our mark of the day, Sarah and gentlemen. So for Chicken Lads, they serve up delicious meals made from scratch using only the best quality local produce. Your mark of the day, Hugo?
Oh, look, it was a game of almost. There were some rippers out there, but I did mind Charlie Harrop. I thought he was quite good in the pocket over the river juggling one. Aside from that, it was pretty slim picking. There was a lot of good chest marks. Nothing really too spectacular, but I'll say Charlie.
We'll go to Charlie Harrop. And our goal of the day for Bedshed Dandenong, this is a great read. No one's better than the bedroom. Bedshed Dandenong, who kicked the best six-pointer.
I mean, we've got a bit of a podium here, I reckon. So in the first term, it was Matthias Rose who kicked a nice one from the pocket. I like Jacob Williams' roving goal in the second term, and I think Vaughan kicked a nice one. It took us about a minute to identify him, but I think setting the tone, I want to give it to Matthias Rose.
Yeah, I think so. That's one I had written down. But I did like the fact that Vaughan did not turn his back and show his number for about 10 minutes.
I wasn't letting him get away with that. You're right, no rushed goals when they're good goals.
We'll speak to his coach about that in a minute. Before we do, the final scores, of course, from South Caulfield will refresh here. Old Haileybury 12-14-86 winners over De La Salle 8-11-59. Andreas Stefanakis, our Skins player of the day, with 4 goals. Rose kicked 2. Singles for Brady Seckle, Jones, Goodawardner, Harrop, Vaughan and Docking. For D-Lar, it was Williams and Healy with 3 apiece. Indovino and Bowden
with singles. Daniel Ward's joined us in the commentary box as part of our post-match show all for Mercedes-Benz Berwick. Daniel, I would say you'd be happy with that, but watching your reaction on the boundary line and what Sarah's just told us, clearly you weren't too happy even though you get the win.
No, look, I have to. You've obviously been in A-grade. Wins are tough to come by, so probably later on tonight I'll look back and say I was happy with it. But yeah, geez, it was a frustrating day at the office, and some things that we usually do pretty well we struggle with. But I'm a coach that likes to give credit to the opposition where it's due, and full credit to D-La. If they play like that most weeks, that they'll get some wins coming home for sure.
I mean, clearly the game was won in the 15-minute patch in the third term. We've spoken about Stephen Arcus kicking 4 goals. What did you say to the boys at half-time specifically?
I just think it wasn't just the coach that was frustrated. I think as a group we were frustrated. So, again, credit to D-La. They weren't letting us get our game going. And I thought, yeah, Dre finished off, but I thought our mids really got going in that third quarter. And led by our captain, Brady Seckle, who I thought was super. Rosie did a great job in there, and Hots, so and Gassy. So, I thought we really got the ball going our way, and that put a lot of pressure under the D-La defence. So I was really proud of the response.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Wardy, I reckon that was pretty much consistent for you blokes. You're always getting first hand on the ball in the middle, using it, and then obviously you're falling down a few areas, a few skill areas. But moving forward there, you going to keep the same sort of combination in there? You happy with the boys?
It's just a moving piece. Obviously, Hot's got reported late, so we'll see what happens there. But it's just a moving piece of what you have with VFL level. Yeah. So, we pushed Noziara back into a wing today. It'll just change. We've got some boys that can come in and help us next week, and we're down to one on the bench. So, Hugo Lynch was injured and Rosie at the end, and then Noah Higgins after a big collision. So, we'll see what happens with those boys and see what the mix looks like. But, the standards are your Brady Seckle and Josh Gasparini and Rosie. And if we can add Hots to that mix, it's obviously a big mix.
Hey, just one more, mate. Just talk about the frustration levels when Dre played on with from that mark. And absolutely, that's a coach killer.
It was a tough day at the office. There's boys are saying he should be playing for Melbourne Storm. He had the try time in the corner, but I just spoke to him then, and obviously you guys had a chat to him as well. He's kicked 4 goals, 5. He's missed a snap from 10 metres out that he kicks 100 times out of 100. He had the try in the corner, and then he could have kicked one at the start of the last that you put down for him. So there's 7 that he could have kicked. So it's a great problem to have. But it was weird. He's a great finisher, and he could have been so much better.
Yeah. Amazing goals, but the best one for mine for the day was how he got that free kick when he was nowhere near that incorrect disposal, but he was the first bloke under the umpire's eyes. So you love players like that.
Yeah, he's good at that, Dre. He's always sniffing around, but there's no comment from me about any umpiring today. Next question.
Yeah.
Prolific for D-La today. Was there a conversation around how you guys were going to cover him around half-time?
Yeah, look, we know Jake's their best player and really crucial to them. It's probably on me a little bit early. He was starting half forward and getting up at the contest, and I actually let him go, and then the Hugo Noziara, his opponent, behind the footy. But he was hurting us too much, and so, that one's on the coach. But after that, we resettled and we put Max Sievers, who's done some good jobs for us this year. He did a great job on Campbell Lane against Old Zabs, and Dogger Sievers just went with him everywhere, and I thought, Jake's a very good player and he was still probably their best, but I thought Max curtailed him and did the job that we were required.
Hugo Noziara behind the ball again. How have you seen his development across the back line the last fortnight?
Yeah, look, Noz will tell you probably of that midfield mix, especially because we've got Hots. I started Hots at half forward when he first came to us, and then soon realised that he was a gun and needed to be on ball. So, yeah, Hugo was probably one that was probably struggling to get his hands on it a little bit. So, but we obviously want to chain it out of defence, and we need some good kickers back there. We had Ned Conway, and we've got Liam Kirkwood-Scott out at the moment, who's a good user coming out of the back line. So it was a perfect time to try Hugo. Played a bit on the wing today as well. So, we'll keep working with that mix. And like I said before to Hugo, it's working with what you've got each week and going from there.
And just one on, you mentioned Ollie Houghton with his suspension earlier or report. Was it for the tackle? Because there was a bit going on afterwards as well. Do you know?
Yeah, I believe it was for the tackle. And I won't comment on the tackle, but we'll have a look at the report and go from there. But Hots has been fantastic. He was a bit upset at the end of the game, but we'll look at that and hopefully things work out.
So, Wardy, looking at the ladder as it sits right now, you're in 4th place. You're in that mix with St Kevin's and St Bernard's chasing the likes of Brighton and Zavs. What I really enjoyed across the week was looking through your numbers, and you're consistently in the top 3 around the contest with Brighton and Zavs. So the brand of footy you're playing is a top flight brand of footy, and you're able to compete with the best sides in top flight, at least this season. How do you feel this year is different to 2023, where you came up again, you weren't able to quite stick it, you were very unlucky, albeit only going down on percentage. What's the difference between the 2023 season and what you've been able to do so far in 2025?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a combination of a few factors. Main one probably being game style and what we looked at last year and how we started probably playing a different way. Not too much, but just some tweaks in B grade last year that didn't start too well. It took us a while to get going, but once we played the right way, that really worked for us late. And we've just continued that. But one of the other factors is, we had some young guys, the Noah Higgins, the Rosies, those type of guys that were, 19, 20 at that stage. They're really good players now and leaders for our footy club, and they've come along. And then if you add Ollie Houghton and Ned Conway and Jack Bell and these boys as well, we've had Dre and Jonesy and Harrop, and it's availability of players. I think I said yesterday that you can have all the plans in the world, but you need the talent at your disposal. So we've worked really hard to get the talent and be to a level where guys want to come down and play. Everyone looks at Ollie Houghton playing here, but he's best mates with Hugo Noziara, who's been here the last 2 or 3 years, and good mates with Jonesy, and so we're building that where guys want to come play for our footy club. Josh Docking's one that was at Hampton Rovers and has come across because his mates are here and we're playing A grade and he's playing that level of footy.
It was great to see as well, Hugo, that when Josh put through that goal at the end of the game, which was his first, I believe, as a Blood, everyone getting to him and really celebrating that moment. It feels like a really connected group.
Yeah, it is. And our twos... Oi!
There's plenty going on here at the balcony.
Our twos...
It's the singing syrup that Simon Petch would talk about.
Yeah. Our twos, obviously, everyone would know, would struggle with our depth at times. And last week, the twos got really close and got beat by less than a kick to Uni Blacks, and they had a win in the last minute today. And what I love about this group was when we kicked the goal that put us in front, our boys were coming back from their warm up, the senior group, and they were very excited. And then the siren went, and they went out there with their mates. So that's what we're building. That it is the senior 22 that go out there each week. But we're building a club that loves to see others succeed.
So, Wardy, we'll talk about the next month, mate. You've got Blues, St Kevin's, and then the Snow Dogs back here. So, pretty important month for you. How far ahead have you thought, or are you just going to throw to the easy one and say taking a week at a time?
I think our group may have looked ahead, by the way we started. We're just off a little bit early, and in this comp you can't afford to be. And we'll just throw our energies into Uni Blues. We've got a decent record at Uni Oval when we've played there in the past. So, we've got some sore boys. We'll get some boys back, but. Yeah, look, those sides around the mark, we won't look too much at our ladder position probably till later in the year, but, to get to where we want to get to, we need to win games against, everyone in the comp. And, I was disappointed with our effort early, especially against Brighton. We're obviously, around the mark against Zavs, who are one of the better teams. And so we've got to be, hitting Blues with everything we've got and go from there, really.
Daniel, really appreciate your time as part of our post-match show. All thanks to Mercedes-Benz Berwick. Enjoy the win and looking forward to seeing you again.
No worries, guys. Thanks for your interest. Appreciate it.
Coach of Old Haileybury is Daniel Ward. Great to join us in the commentary box and get the coach's insight after a 27-point victory for his team, the Bloods, on their way to the top 4 of this competition on their return to top flight footy. So impressive they were today. 12-14-86, winning over De La Salle 8-11-59. He's impressive, isn't he, Daniel Ward, Hugo Higginbotham?
Yeah, no, he is. And we spoke about this earlier, how frustrated he was. I can guarantee you he'd be up by 85 points and he'd still find something to get frustrated about. But that's all part of coaching. That's what you want your players to play the best they possibly can. You can see areas of improvement, and but he reads the game really well, and he's heavily invested, and you want that, especially in community footy. But he didn't have much pull with the people on the balcony when he told them to show up. They were very, very, very socially lubricated, I think would be the correct term. What a great lunch it must have been.
It must have been. Simon Petch, if you're lucky enough to listen to his call on the SEN Match of the Day, he'll talk lovingly about the singing syrup at some of the functions, and I dare say they've been hoeing into that all afternoon.
It would appear so.
Beautiful stuff. Just a quick one. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, everyone, tomorrow. Hope your mums have a great day. Look after your mums and your grandmothers and your mother-like figures in your life. Fantastic to see, I think, the footy clubs get around that through whether it be amateur footy or senior footy, AFL footy, VFL footy. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums who might be listening, including mine.
A big one, Paddy, is junior footy. It's great to go to junior footy and to see how much they get around the mums. They make the mums do all the work, make them run out on the grounds, and you see the mums in the active wear.
Yes.
Thinking, what am I doing on my Mother's Day, running around doing this?
See, my mum's quite the athlete, so she would take it with relish. There was a race, and I think she would train for it. So I don't know if I've quite given her that opportunity anymore. Now I'm out of Auskick. That was about 12 years ago. I think she'll still be filthy about that.
Another one, Paddy, quite a few AFLW athletes that are mothers themselves have given birth and play the game as well. So they're heading back to pre-season next week, so we're thinking about all of them too. Quite a feat to birth a child and then come back and play AFLW, and there are many of them.
It was Bess Keeney who recently announced that she'll miss the season because she's pregnant, which is exciting news for Bess. So big congratulations to her. She's probably listening, I assume. Let's go through the Premier B results, because there are a couple of thrillers that we should touch on before we say goodbye. Old Trinity 13-15-93 have beaten Old Carey 14-8-92, so the Tees by a point at home. They were 15 points up at the final change and then were able to hold off the Panthers. Williamstown CYMS have beaten Old Geelong by 4 points at the Fearon Reserve, so the CYs are kicked down at the final break, 3-2. Conters Oglu's men get it done. They've had a strong start to the season, the CYs. Fitzroy running out 103-point winners over Hampton Rovers, so Fitzroy their first win of the season. Marty Pask's Rovers still on the lookout for their first win of the year. And another thriller looks like it's playing out between Caulfield and Old Melburnians. It's the OMs by 2 points at the start of the final quarter. That one's just underway at Glen Huntly Park. Of course, a 3 p.m. start, which is why that one is so late. And Old Camberwell has handed Old Ivanhoe its first loss of the 2025 season. So that's a hell of a result for Neil Connell, the new coach of the Wellers, 10-11-71, defeating the Hoers 8-12-60. That'll make for an interesting ladder when we discuss that on the For the Love of the Game podcast with Joey Pignataro and Jason Bennett during the week. So Matthew Donald, Hugo Higginbotham and Sarah Burt, that might be us done here from South Caulfield. Thank you for such an enjoyable broadcast, everyone. Hugo, we'll start with you.
Always a pleasure, Paddy. I love calling with the A team now. We're the A+ team. We've got Sarah on board, so
Sarah's shown us levels today, I'll tell you what.
Unbelievable.
Matthew Donald, thank you again.
Yep, now we've completed the quartet. It's my favourite part of the week is Saturday afternoon calling the VAFA, and another terrific game once again. Look forward to doing it all again next week.
And Sarah Burt, it was a Dean Polo-esque debut from yourself. You were unreal. So
Paddy,
thank you very much for your company.
Thank you very much. My absolute honour to spend my Saturday with you guys. Thank you for having me.
And also a big thank you to our man Bruce on the buttons, who he's quite excited. He doesn't have to hang out with Simon Petch every weekend now, so it's just a pleasurable afternoon for our man. And thank you, of course, to everyone back at HQ, whether it be VAFA or SEN. We appreciate your support through the season. That's it for the William Buck SEN Match of the Day here for Premier Footy. It's the Bloods over D-La in South Caulfield.
This has been the SEN Match of the Day. Thanks to William Buck. Join us again next week on the SEN app, sen.com.au and vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more. Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Keep up to date with everything that's happening around the VAFA by subscribing to our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, LinkedIn and TikTok. Join in the fun with the best pics, videos, stories and reels from around the competition. Send us your best and we might share them around the league. VAFA Socials. Search VAFA and VAFA Women's on your favourite platforms.
Would you like to get more closely involved with footy and enjoy the unique camaraderie and bonds that exist in and around footy clubs? VAFA clubs are always looking for volunteers to assist with the weekly running of the club, both on and off the field. Log on to vafa.com.au and check out our club directory to find a club near you.